The cool thing about it too is like there are some settings on the PlayStation game that are actually really dope. What is up, everybody?
What up, people?
Quick little. So it turns into a mirror image just in case they wanted to see what was on the screen or anything like that.
Sick.
What is up, everybody? MuseMe TV. We are back. Oh my god, dude. We are literally on episode 160. Like, that is just ridiculous. Like, I don't
160.
160. 160. We've been fucking trying to push these out. I've been doing this for like 2.5 years now, so I need to stop being lazy and just... I should have an episode every day.
Yeah.
So I fucking...
I mean, I have a shitload of videos, but to be honest, so many of them were trash early on. But I just consider that, practice.
There you go.
Getting out the kinks.
Because especially trying to do this like live in that kind of like setting, like being comfortable with doing it and stuff like that. There's still people that I see that go live or they try to make videos and shit like that, and they still have that awkwardness, or they're still kind of getting used to like, oh shit, I'm on camera.
For sure. I've always been bad in front of like public speaking too, like my whole life, afraid to like get out there in front of class, always trying to shy high away. But, this is definitely, I recommend to people who struggle with some confidence or whatever like that, just try doing some streams, recording, and see if that does anything for you. Just getting your, getting your voice out there and not giving a fuck too much.
That's the truth too. I mean, that's literally what it all is, right? We just want to like get out there and do more with whatever we're trying to do. I mean, the shitty part is that we have the 9 to 5 and stuff like that, but most of us don't want to do that. We actually want to do something more.
And they shouldn't if they don't have to. Like, if you could afford it or get by.
Welcome to America, man.
Yeah.
America makes you do some things you don't want to do.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Anyways, let me go ahead and give you a proper introduction. So everybody, give it up for my friend. I'm going to introduce you what you have you on your YouTube channel. This is Jerry and Jerry's Thoughts, the host of Jerry's Thoughts, everybody. So give it up for Jerry.
Yes, sir. Twitch, you might see me as FreeJerry88. You might see that tag a little bit more coming up, but Jerry's Thoughts on YouTube.
And technically, your name is Jairus.
Jairus. Yeah, the Mexican family, that was hard for them to pronounce growing up, so hence Jerry was born.
So, wait, Jairus is like a Mexican name?
No, it's not at all. So that's why it was hard for them to pronounce.
Where did that come from? It's a very interesting name.
It's strangely, it's biblical. It's a pretty obscure biblical story.
Okay.
Jairus, Jairus was the father of a girl who was like blind and deaf, and it was like one of the miracles Jesus performed.
Raising of Jairus' daughter.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Did you find it? That's that's where it was from. My mom was a interesting lady, a little crazy.
So it's not like you're like a very religious person, then, are you? You yourself. I mean, maybe you do come from a...
Man, I'm coming a little bit full circle.
Shout out Mario. Thank you for joining.
Nice. We got Mario chiming in.
Starting off strong. So cheers, brother.
Awesome.
We've got to have you on the podcast as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, coming from... okay, because I unfortunately come from a Mexican family as well. And, dude, La Santa Maria de todos los madres. Dime la cual. Dude, it's a religious thing. Like, but I'm not religious.
Me either. So I come from like a very mixed family. My mom is white, and my dad's side of the family is Mexican. They're Catholic. My mom is Southern Baptist. So it's very weird out there.
But they had these mutual agreements that like God exists, Jesus.
Dude, I have to say, yeah. I mean, my extended family, yes. My grandmother's very religious, very Catholic, very much devout wife. Stick by the husband through the years. Maybe she should, that kind of deal. But like, man, my parents were 80s kids, man. They were really young when they had me, so it was like party and rock and roll. And, my mom raised me single mother pretty much, me and my sisters and all that. It was chaotic, to say the least.
Yeah, so a lot of things did happen.
A lot of crazy shit, but the religious thing came up a bit, but... Yeah, that's a very...
It wasn't...
You're getting into it. Yeah,
it wasn't
it's a little
pushed,
complex.
It wasn't pushed on you. It wasn't like...
My mom would go through weird phases, I think, due to her various mental illnesses, where she would go through it and push it.
I feel the same way. Like, there were some times where my mom especially, because my dad really didn't give a care, but my mom was more of a religious person, where some... maybe
or allegedly religious.
yeah, because obviously she did some crazy shit. 3 years down the line should be like, whatever, I don't care what you do as long as you're a good person. And then that next year should just be like, oh, we're going to church every Sunday. Like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Like, is this like a whole new take on life? Or, and we were young too. Like, how do you deal with that at a young age? Like, I don't know if it's, again, I guess that kind of.
Well, see, for me, like, I tried to, right, growing up, like, as a young kid, just to put it in perspective, I was the kid that was unwittingly kicked out of 2 vacation Bible schools because of misbehavior that I didn't realize I was misbehaving. Batman, and like this is like the end of the Satanic Panic in the early '90s. So like having a Batman and a Hot Wheels at like certain Baptist vacation Bible schools was just not cool. You know? They don't like to see the weird kid in the class playing with that shit, not paying attention.
But how was a Bible school to you? Because when they had a vacation Bible school at my church, all it technically was is like older kids from a different state. They came to kind of like their training and like helping community service and shit like that. So they kind of like helped the youth in our place. But all they did was sleep with each other and like have a bunch of like. It was weird.
It's kind of like band, right? It's kind of like middle school band. Like everybody was like, "Oh, look at those nerds not getting laid." When no, joke's on you.
Yeah, they're fucking
getting
going
handies in the back.
Yeah, they get to go out of state with no family members, no supervision.
Hotel rooms. Oh, yeah, it's platonic. He's my clarinet partner, you know?
Well, some of my relatives actually took in, like, they're like, oh, we have an extra bedroom. You can stay with us. And then their daughter was a horny little girl, and they're just, like, sleeping with these people. I'm just like, oh, I hate everything.
It's so hilarious. So the vacation Bible school I went to in middle school was, like, I basically got kicked out of there because me and my best friend at the time were just the fucking troublemakers in middle school. And
the guys.
Boonies, boonie living,
Where was this at?
Carlsbad,
Carlsbad.
Yeah, and even like smaller than Carlsbad, like the outskirts of Carlsbad, in a town of 1,000 people. Loving. I went to high school for a little bit, but might as well be Texas. Might as well be like small town, like Friday Night Lights bullshit.
But that's what's crazy too. Is like down there, more south, it's more Mexican based. Like there's a lot more Mexicans than up north.
Yeah,
there's Hispanic.
This is
Mexican.
landed. This is like landed Mexicans. I feel like third generation, fifth generation,
and they're closer to the border and stuff like that too. So they actually probably
This is kind of new in Carlsbad. Like they're getting a lot more Mexican immigrants for sure, and people that have migrated from them just straight up. Because historically, it's been kind of like it's a 50-50 town for sure in terms of ethnicity and how the town's comprised. But I mean. The soccer team used to be like all white, at Carlsbad High School, even though like maybe it didn't really reflect the population. But now it's like these kids are too good that it's like the soccer team at Carlsbad High now, which is like a big change. That kind of shit, like that kind of old school Texas corn-fed
big
boy thing is getting
yeah.
pushed out just because the competition is getting better.
Whatever sport athletics. They have, right? Lacrosse, fucking soccer.
It doesn't. I mean.
Why
it's a small town, Carlsbad hasn't won in a state championship in like 40-something years, so...
You can only hope, I guess.
Yeah.
I wonder how they try to, like... How can you actually do that, though? It's like, you would have to... That school's class of that year would have to be the most amazing kids ever.
Dude, big. Like, there's one high school in Carlsbad.
One?
It's, like, massive.
I don't really remember too much about... the sports scene in high school, but do multiple schools win multiple years? Like, say, the Los Lunas Tigers won the state champion in 2012, 13, and 14. They're 3-time.
I think that happens like the dynasty thing happens less. I think that's how it used to be. But now I think high school sports has been, so disrupted with what's happened over the last couple of years. And it's like...
It's horrible now.
It's going to be a shit show. Yeah, like some kids are probably going to hardly play high school football and you just see them in the NFL one day because they've been working out at home and doing some private shit. And they have an agent and people behind them working, you know what I mean? Behind them working them out. Like, I think high school athletics is the pipeline to the pros is probably done, but
you think it'd be
that's a little bit of a tangent.
You think it'd be the same thing with the college admission and shit like that too? Like, we end up recruiting kids from high school to end up being on college, and then the college teams are what kind of get
Dude, I
picked.
don't even know what the fuck is going to happen with college sports. Because did you watch the March Madness?
I did.
I don't know anybody that watched the tournament this year.
Is it
Because they only
horrible?
played I think the season was only like 15 games.
What?
For everybody, like for hundreds of basketball teams. Some teams didn't even elect to play, like big name schools. But it's pretty crazy, man. The talent coming out of college is weaker than ever in terms of basketball.
Interesting.
But I think collegiate athletics is dying too. There's some, who is it? Master P's son? Is it Master P? Yeah, Master P's son is about to go pro in some sport. I can't remember if it's basketball or football. I think it's football, but he's already lining up he's trying to get him endorsement deals before he signs with the college and shit. He's already aiming at like a $3.5 million or $2.5 million endorsement deal.
That's so crazy though.
Yeah.
Because there's like no real. Well, I guess the work is being put in behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's all those secret. It's like the Rich Paul syndrome, right? With LeBron.
Harris Miller, right? Harris Miller?
Is that it? Because Master P is Perry Miller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I'm probably not reading it correctly.
Oh, here we go.
I have the worst dyslexia in the world, but yeah.
Oh, shit. Hersey Miller.
Hersey Miller.
I like that name. Hersey.
Hersey.
Okay, close, man.
I hate myself.
Harris is a good name, too.
But yeah, so yeah, you're right.
See, pretty dope. Where's he heading to? Texas State? No, Tennessee State. 3-star, not bad. That's not 5-star, but, you know.
That's still like almost what?
I mean, that's like late. You're hoping like right now, probably projected like second round pick or not in NBA. But if he works at it, could get to the first round. That's probably how I would rate that potential. I'm an NBA head.
You know what I love that too is like the way you look. You don't look like you're into sports.
No,
like you'd be like, "Hey, bro, let's go ahead and go cultivate a gathering on Minotaur Island tonight." I mean, that's probably what we do too. But still, the sports aspect is kind of you kind of get thrown off because you don't have that persona, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It's
just what you like, though.
I got absorbed into it when I was younger. You kind of fall into your own worlds when you're growing up, you know, escape whatever shit you're in. I played basketball for a long time, just rec-wise in high school. That's how I fucked up my knee. And that's how I had a torn ACL for 16 years. I barely got it fixed recently.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's why I'm recovering from knee surgery, basically, because I tore out the rest of my meniscus on a hike.
And the whole time you've just been fucking...
dealing with it. Just getting through life.
That's crazy.
I have to tell you, yeah. But yeah, fight sports are my passion.
Yeah, I just saw that too. We've been talking about it a little bit, like
for sure.
The UFC and shit like that. Well, I guess we should get started with it. I mean, is there anybody that is going to stop Jorge Masvidal? I mean, not Jorge, fucking Usman.
I was gonna say those pillow fists of Usman put Masvidal right to sleep. That's what he called it, right? Did they call him pillow fists? I think Masvidal called him pillow fists.
Did he?
And then he literally took a nap on his shoulder for half a second before he fell to the ground.
I love the whole thing where he just has to like agree with it. He's like, that was the best punch I've ever gotten hit with.
You know what I like about it too is like, shout out to Ben Askren. Like, Askren must be just sitting back, like, ha ha ha, motherfucker. That's how it is to be flatlined. He's like, you got me in 5 seconds, but boy, was that a piston of right hand.
Yeah, because especially the hype too. Like, you know, all that hype. Like,
and that fight should have never happened, in my opinion.
Again, if you put the card, like, you know, all the stats and everything, no, dude, you had you probably would have never made it that high, or you probably just didn't have, you should have just kept your fucking BMF title or whatever the fuck.
What the fuck is that? Are they going to give that to Usman?
They should have.
Are they going to give it to anybody? Can they just give it to Jake Paul so they have something to talk about? Like, I mean, come on.
Oh, he should have Usman should have had both of the belts when he won. Like, that was the baddest motherfucking hit ever.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't give a shit.
He's fighting. You know that he's already. This came out today. He's trying to fight June 12th, like less than a month and a half from now.
He is.
Yeah, he's fighting. He wants to fight in the undercard of Francis Ngannou's title defense against Derek Lewis.
But I thought it was gonna be what's his name first? Colby.
Maybe it's Colby. Because Colby trained to be in shape for this fight, just in case. Even though he wasn't an alternate, he did it to troll them.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be Colby, man. I've been dying for that rematch because I'm a ride or die Colby.
Really? No.
Yeah, I love Colby.
That's crazy. And I do like the hypeness that Colby brings. He's just that asshole that is just like...
He's pro wrestling 101. He's like, yeah.
He does it,
He's the heel. Yeah, he's the heel. He knew what he did. And he believes what he's doing a little bit. I think he has his beliefs and he's putting them out there, but I think he's definitely maximizing it to his fullest extent.
Dude, that's what everybody's doing now. Look at Jake Paul.
They're geniuses. The first guy to do this, and we should give him credit, is Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, did you see
he's
that?
a completely mediocre fighter who talked his way into title shots and big fights over and over again.
I saw something on YouTube, an interview or something, where they were talking about that, where Chael was kind of like the pioneer of being that kind of trash talker, you know?
I just remember him being in the octagon that day, and he's like, Anderson Silva, I got one thing to say to you. You absolutely suck.
Yeah.
And it's just...
And you just hear everybody like,
it.
oh!
Yeah, I was burned!
Like, yeah, they would never expected something like that.
So hilarious.
But I guess I understand, too, because if you think about it, fighting is really humbling. Like, it has so much honor and, like, so much...
And I think if you grow up in like, I think part of the reason why my dad was such a big boxing fan and fight fans growing up and put it on me was that he was a massive Bruce Lee guy. Like, I think he was like a Bruce Lee. I think there's like a big, huge percentage of males that grew up in that era, like the 60s and 70s. I just got obsessed with martial arts and boxing because of Bruce Lee.
Interesting.
And because of Muhammad Ali too.
Yeah.
But...
And I guess, yeah, depending on what they were into. Because I remember my dad watching a lot of boxing fights, but it was like of people like Cesar Chavez, stuff like that, like Mexican fighters and shit like that. But he still would watch a pay-per-view of Mike Tyson and shit like that, too.
Yeah, for sure. Every pay-per-view was ordered in my house. Yeah. We were, dude, my best memories growing up were at my cousin Tommy's house. Tommy Ornelas, shout out. I don't know if he can. I don't think he's subscribed. I don't know if he knows.
But you should watch the video later.
But dude, we used to go to his house and play like beach volleyball, like sand in the backyard, or maybe it was like a friend's house, or we'd go to Tommy's house and like watch the fights. Like they'd do rounds. I was like 5-6-year-old kid running around. When the main event came around, I was the only kid that stopped to watch it. My dad and all them, but. Man, fights in Phoenix in the 90s were just fucking hype. When there was a Mike Tyson or De La Hoya fight.
De La Hoya, yeah.
Michael Carbajal, the flyweight champ out of Phoenix.
Oh, man, that's so funny how Oscar De La Hoya is portrayed now, though.
Portrayed or just
the way
become?
He is.
The way he's just...
the way he is.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I was like, maybe he had just such a good PR team behind him from the beginning, and he's always been a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the fuck he was on that Triller card.
I know. Everyone made so much fun
out
of
of his fucking mind. Just a shame to his family.
I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people do know what we're talking about, but it was that Triller card for Jake Paul and fucking Ben Askren.
That shit show of a card.
Do you think the numbers are correct? Do you think he really did
make... Dana White is right?
You think?
I've heard some very sketchy shit about Triller.
But, so the other fight that they put on with fucking Tyson and Roy Jones, that easily made as much as they said.
But do you hear what's happened since with Mike Tyson? He's completely walked away from Triller and disregarded everything.
But why?
Probably because they fucking ripped him off on the money and lied about the pay-per-view numbers and paid him the real pay-per-view number percentage and not the one that they said and claimed in the media.
You don't think?
Maybe.
You don't think?
That's my conspiracy.
I wish Mike Tyson would be a man. Just be like, them bastards didn't pay me enough.
No, he doesn't got that kind of... He doesn't got that fight anymore, man. You got to understand, this is a man who's been in prison for false claims of rape. Oh... Did I say that?
Did he say that out loud, everybody?
Oh, sorry. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. I like that was great.
But it's still, it's weird times with that shit too. It's the birth of the cancel culture.
Yeah.
No matter what you do in your past, it's going to come back and haunt you now.
He's done the redemption arc though. Tyson's pulled it off somehow.
Well, I think
it started because of the cartoons.
Oh, dude, the Mike Tyson mysteries.
With that. I think that's how you soften the blow.
Interesting. That's a good theory though. Like how else?
Symbols.
Especially if you have to portray to a younger youth. Like he was already for our parents' generation. Like, oh, this guy's a badass, but now he's an asshole.
You remember it started with the pigeons? You remember he's raising pigeons for his anger management.
Yeah, or the tiger thing. Dude,
I don't know what was it with the tiger thing, but he shouldn't have had the tigers.
But knowing about tigers is way before fucking
the fucking future president.
Yeah, actual fucking
the real Tiger King.
Why the fuck can't I think of his name right now?
Oh, I can't remember. That movie that should have won. I mean, I guess he can't win an Oscar. That movie should have won Emmys. That series. I love Tiger King. That was the MVP of the pandemic.
You think so?
Me.
That did get a lot of people's attention.
I loved it.
But it's one of those hype things where it's like, oh, look at this attention, and now nobody gives a shit about tigers anymore.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I still care.
Well, you obviously, but not most of the majority of people. I don't think they kind of have that same.
Well, did it help that like his main rival, Carol fucking Baskin, murdered her husband and like is now being investigated for like fraud with their charities now?
That's awesome that they actually reopened that shit.
I know,
and they're doing something.
I don't know
with
what's happening. I was really hoping Trump would have pardoned the guy. Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic. There you go.
Joe Exotic.
Joe Malanava or something. His real name is
fucking
some stupid Italian thing.
Man.
Maldonado.
I just appreciate his style so much, man. Just give me no Fs.
I totally understand that.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Dude, gun on hip and everything. That's some pretty intense shit would happen with like his lovers and shit like that, but
they were all a bunch of weirdos, right?
They were druggies.
Yeah,
what do you expect?
like, they were all
what do you
just tweaking
expect?
out. Yeah, okay. That's like, yeah. Everybody's all trying to make him feel bad for that one. I was like, these guys are all a bunch of freaks, in my opinion.
That's what kind of gives me a little bit of hope right now. Is like, okay, if you can do that with Tiger King, what's not to say we fucking took a camera right now, go into the war zone, and just follow a family for like 6 months.
I think that the first night you'd get murdered for your camera.
Well, you would have to be very secure about the things.
Like I was scared walking over here. I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, we're in the middle. Like, hold on.
We're like borderlands. We're not in the ghetto.
I was gonna show you. My pepper gel was in my coat pocket. I was like, I walked over here with pepper spray. I was gonna show you just in case.
We're like, we're like borderline ghetto. Unfortunately,
we're student ghetto. We're definitely UNM ghetto, and there's no UNM. So
yeah, what do you
subtract that? We both live in the same neighborhood pretty much.
And it's horrible to think too, is that like a bunch of like people our age live in like apartments like this, and then the next 2 apartments are just like low income gangsters and stuff. Like,
yeah,
damn, we just got out of prison and we don't have nowhere to live. Hey, these apartments are pretty cheap, eh? But
yeah,
what are we gonna do? Like, and then
let's move in our whole family homes. We can find a studio.
But it's crazy to think about too, because like most of those people are probably not that bad of people. Like the portrayal of bad people is done with the media so much hype.
Well, there's good people on both sides, right?
I think there's more. Well, again, I really believe in the whole concept of yin and yang. So there has to be there has to be an even balance.
It's lifestyle choices, and part of it is poverty, but a lot of it, I think there's something to be said with like certain lifestyle choices too, for sure.
Shout out to Maurice. Thank you for joining. He had a question. I thought Tiger King got so popular because it was the beginning of the lockdown and no one had anything to do. Would it still have been popular, you think? Do you think it would still been popular?
I think it was a compelling enough story. Yeah. I mean, it has like a lot of things that are hot right now, right? Let's just like be honest. Like there's like some woke things going out there. Like I'm sure it was hot that he was a gay bisexual man. I'm sure that would get some clicks.
Yeah.
The guns. Oh man, you got some Republicans watching. You got some libertarians watching like me.
Yeah.
Oh man, he wants to run his own private zoo with his own animals. Oh man, you got more libertarians watching. It crosses all lines.
Yeah, I can see
Everybody from several generations. Like you could watch that with like, I mean, your grandpa or your dad might think it's weird, but like they could watch it and like kind of grasp what's going on.
They still can kind of get the concept of it too.
Yeah, and it is bizarre. The concept is just that it's bizarre, right? It's a bizarre story. It's
Dude,
real life.
More tigers in there than the whole world. Like
in Texas, yeah.
Oh my god, in that whole area, like the Oklahoma, Texas, fucking everywhere there, and that's just of what's reported.
Yeah. So that leads to the question: is like, are they actually endangered, or is there some kind of weird, like, exotic market that kind of controls what you call endangered?
That's actually a good thought about that too, because what's
follow the money.
That sucks too. That certain animals we can't have because they are put on this like very endangered list, or we can't even have them. Like a monkey.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I'm pretty sure if a monkey was well trained, very well taken care of, why wouldn't more people have monkeys? I want a monkey. I want 2.
Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to have a capuchin monkey.
Well, isn't there... Right? Is there certain types of monkey that you can and can't have? Or can it be like... Well, obviously...
I think it's, like, really prohibitive. They try to make it as hard as possible. And then, like, who's the guy you're getting it from? Is he licensed? Because I read this one, like... This is funny because I read this National Geographic article maybe like 4 years ago. It was like a big like 7 to 10 page spread. It was like the main article of that episode. So this guy, he worked for like several different governmental and non-governmental organizations, and he was like an exotic animal trafficker out of Indonesia. He was like the biggest one in like Southeast Asia, and he was just like selling all these animals to all these zoos and private collectors and shit. Like
Jesus.
talking about how he smuggled snakes in suitcases and flights and all like just incredible shit.
And it's so weird that that actually happens. Like, again,
Oh, no
not
doubt.
just with animals, but like the drug trade.
Black market, money rules, man. That's like the biggest case for libertarian capitalism is that you never have stopped it anyway.
Well, isn't that the conspiracy though? Is that they let a certain amount of stuff like that come in because it does help the economy in a certain way?
Well, yeah, I
and
think
it
you
does.
definitely saw that with the Fast and Furious scandal that Eric Holder and they got busted with under the Obama administration when they got caught running guns to the cartels and selling them. They were like literally selling them. It's all verified. Like you can find the papers. Like they were fucking literally.
They did it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was in
and
cahoots.
they're trying to ban guns now at the U.S. So you really got to ask yourself, like, what are they pushing?
Is it some kind of control, or is it some kind of like? I think it's
It's discontent. Everybody profits from discontent.
well, it depends on how it's done too, right? Because like would you see China in a certain way doing it in this manner? Obviously, they have the
I
worst.
think China's infiltrated many corporations in the United
Well,
States.
that's what they do. That's literally
that's what they're training. That's what they've been. This is like
that's
the
how they
50-year plan.
that's how they kind of could have more of a foothold on us, is because companies like Apple and like whatever big corporations where they're just like, hey, let's go have everything
they're
done in
marrying
China.
our politicians now and having affairs with their politicians, and they're their personal drivers on certain Congress people.
And that, I don't know if that's like scary to me, or is it just something that can get weeded out over time? Like, obviously, they kind of seems like they're doing the 5,000 year rules or the 500
Right.
years, but how well will it be executed, and can it be into a sense?
So this is the question I've been pondering a lot lately, and I've been asking it on my YouTube stream as well. But are you aware? Like, do you remember the Red Scare?
Yeah.
Do you like, how was it characterized to you, like growing up? Like, how did you learn about it? Like, how was it? How, like, just debate? I'm just like asking, like, how do they frame it to you?
In a very sense of the way I was taught in school and shit was that there was just people trying to get information that we had to better their situation over ours.
Right.
And in that sense, it's just like, they want to know why we have nuclear missiles and they don't, or stuff like that. So,
But do you think they had like? Do you think that like a lot of people call like McCarthy's thing like a witch hunt, right? Like,
Okay.
but like persecuting like Hollywood actors and all that stuff. But a lot of it was like verified. This is like a secret history they don't really tell you. Like, at least in my history books, they didn't tell us this. But like, there's this one podcaster. Shout out to Michael Malice. He's like really from my mind on a lot of things.
I've seen him a few.
But
on a few places.
he's talked about this. He's like, dude, they used to like, maybe like McCarthy wasn't so crazy. Like he might have went a little bit off the rails, and like he started calling everybody a communist and had all these trials, in the Senate. But has it been going on since the 40s? Like, has it been going? Like, it could very well have been going on since the 40s, and it's still continuing to this day.
And
It's
that's the worst.
changed over time.
It's the worst too. It's like you put these labels on outliers, and they're just like totally fucking.
Yeah,
Everything is dog
He was the
shit.
first conspiracy. Like he would be the Alex Jones. Like
And
he
I
would
was
be the
just gonna-
Alex Jones of our time.
I was just gonna mention that too. It's
Yeah.
like Alex Jones has been in the same situation too, where like
And he's right 90%.
he's credible in a lot of things. Again, he's so fucking big headed, and like the attitude he brings is just so fucking toxic. And it's just like, oh man, I don't know if I can, because there's so many people that just
I think people forget that sometimes these guys are real guys, right? And if you're a truth teller, like you're probably going to have your flaws out there a little bit more. I think it's a little bit like, don't want to get too, into Trump or anything, but that might be why people might have gravitated to Trump, is because like, yeah, he's losing his mind in front of us a little bit, but I can see the truth like through it. Whereas you get certain people just straight lying to you,
Okay.
like time and time and time again, over and over and over,
But I feel like that's probably been throughout history right now, right? Like we've always kind of been put in that situation where we don't really know the strings that are being pulled, the things that are being done.
I think we're starting to know. I think that's why part of it's getting so divisive, and I think that's why somebody, whoever's behind the scenes, just hit the emergency button with like all the division right now. Like
So are they trying to push more for division in the sense where like they're like, holy shit, they're starting to figure out more shit. Let's actually try to make them more divided. Libertarians, conservatives,
Yes,
LGBT.
and I do think that that there's a certain element in our government knows exactly what they're doing, and they're doing like a reverse Jim Crow. It's basically like a reverse. Like, what's the easy? Like, it's easier if they self-segregate, right? It's easier to control shit if people just self-segregate themselves. And then you can control each group and start to pay off each group. It's kind of like the Marxist model. It's how they buy off unions.
Okay.
That's how political dissent had worked historically in communist countries before they went full Marxist. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing why is like the rate, like, granted, if there's a lot of horrible shit going on in the world, COVID, pandemic, like murder rates are doubling and tripling throughout the country, and yet we're still seeing these like police videos being pushed on us at the same time, which of course the police interactions are more through the roof. They're more strained than ever.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing is like, if you just preach fear and hate and division, you're just going to get people to start to stick to themselves in their own hoods.
And that's more controllable. Right?
Yeah.
In that sense.
I think so.
Yeah.
Especially right now, if you look at politics of the country and the mind, what I call the psyop of the last 2 years.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
See, and that's what's so shitty to think about too, is that like it's kind of being desensitized over time, where we're just kind of fed this thing. We're kind of always given this narrative, and then now when it's starting to more unravel, we're just like, oh yeah, oh well. I mean, it's our
like, why UFOs? Like, why do we know more about UFOs than ever?
Don't
right now?
fucking get me started.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
And I love. Okay, this is my theory: is that
I got a good one.
You're
gonna love it.
They're literally. I'm literally think aliens right now are telling government officials that like, hey, we're coming down here soon. You guys better be ready for us. Let us know we're coming down. And now they're trying to desensitize us faster, but not in a way that's going to totally fucking.
I think they're distracting us from the war at home or the shit that's going on domestically. They throw this little stuff out here to get the news cycle fucked up for a little bit. But man, in terms of this UFO, in terms of what I actually believe.
Let's go. We're in depth.
That shit's interdimensional, and Antarctica's got something to do with these UFOs. And ocean.
So interdimensional.
Atlantis, Antarctica, UFOs.
They all
interdimensional beings.
They all relate.
Yes. This goes back to some Nazi seance shit. I won't talk too much. I kind of want to preview this, baby. I'm switching my channel a little bit, and I'm going to be doing like a more paranormal, conspiratorial element, true crime, murder mysteries. But this first one is going to be about like Nazi seance elves and the kind of shit that's on record that Hitler and Himmler and all those top brass of the Nazis allegedly did with certain famous American scientists.
Okay.
And the things they claimed is really bizarre.
Well, like to understand this interdimensional thing, or was it just like to unlock it themselves?
Dude, they were tripping balls to come into contact with interdimensional beings to access like certain technology from like a different realm.
And as in tripping balls, they took whatever.
DMT.
DMT was one of the main ones.
LSD.
Okay.
Those are the two that are most floated out there. I tend to think it's DMT because I think LSD is more mind control shit.
Okay.
I never had too many great experiences on LSD.
Okay.
That's what I say.
And so that's why with that aspect of it, you're like, it wasn't me understanding more of the world. It was more kind of me getting locked in my brain or something.
I had one good trip
with
on LSD.
But
I feel like I got really good shit.
But then how many times have you done it then?
Like 8.
Okay, see, I've only done it one time, and the one time was an amazing trip.
Right.
But
maybe it's just the one time, right? Or maybe this shit was on like some hippy dippy Beatles Yellow Submarine paper and was incredibly good. And that's why I tripped good.
But when one of those trips happened, I'm thinking like, oh, this is so crazy too, because when I'm tripping on like mushrooms,
I like mushrooms now that I'm older.
I'm always trying, like, if we were tripping on mushrooms right now, I would literally just like be really quiet and literally be trying in my head to talk to you so hard. I'd just be like, Jairus,
just psychically beaming that shit.
Jairus, can you hear me? Oh my God, please.
That's hilarious.
And that's just trying to understand more of what's going on in that sense, because I'm fucking tripping balls. Like I still don't even know what really is.
I think DMT's the real shit, man. And I think that's why, like,
I've never
it's hard to replicate. That's why you got got to do the ayahuasca thing to really, really get it. They say, like, to get the full experience, because
the way
I mean, you don't got the Nazi lab shit, right? You're not gonna have the DMT.
it's like somebody in their basement, right, that made it.
Well, that's what you get out here. Yeah.
But you still have you done it like that?
DMT?
Yeah.
No.
At all?
I tried to smoke it once, but it didn't. I don't think I did it right.
Interesting. No, it's good to know, because like I knew a guy that said he did it and he had a great experience, saw like fractal patterns and stuff like that.
Everybody claims that. Yeah, they say they see the fractal thing, and that they see. Rogan has talked about elves on this podcast too.
Interesting.
And the Nazis specifically talked about elves, elf helpers or something weird.
Why would
But
elves?
why elves?
Yeah.
But then you start thinking about fucking Christmas, right? And then you start thinking about the mythos of Christmas, and there's a theory that it's based on psychedelia also.
Yeah, the mushroom, right?
The what is it? The mascara, amore mascara, or whatever it's called.
It just looks so pretty, like the red and polka dots on it.
It looks like a Mario level, right?
Yeah,
it's exactly what that is too.
And to think about like the aspect of that story as well too, like where Mario actually gets bigger because
okay,
eats a mushroom, and not only that, the different types of mushrooms that actually help him out through the world and shit. That's
pretty funny. Then he turns into a flying squirrel.
Yeah, dude, it's intense.
It's like why? I don't know.
There has to be more meaning to like the reasoning to all of this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel like it's like some subconscious thing by like a higher power kind of thing?
Like
or
what?
Who knows?
Specifically.
I'm going to throw you my theory is, unfortunately, this probably is...
Like the theory of everything?
This is probably a shitty simulation. Like, unfortunately.
I think we're in some kind of weird... Oh, my God. I feel like, dude... This is interesting because I feel like the last like 4 or 5 years is when I started getting into like more conspiracy podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just started hearing like some weird gradual buildup. They weren't all like calling like the roof is on fire, but the roof is on fire. But I kept hearing a lot about this like Age of Aquarius in 2020. I'm like, expect some like weird paradigm shift, and it's either going to be like the era of truth, or it's going to be like the era
downfall
of everything falls apart. It's the awakening. It's the Great Awakening, right? You saw the Q movement use that a lot. I think for a reason. Like I think there is like a weird like subtle like spirituality element to that too. I think, but I mean, I heard so many weird predictions about this shit. Like I'm not even like bullshitting. Like so many podcasters are called exactly what happened this last year and a half.
Interesting.
Like I heard a podcast about this one guy was just saying, he's like, watch out for like the April of like 2020, like expect some kind of weird virus thing for them to push some kind of like vaccine thing to help the pharmaceutical companies out. They like to do it every so often, like every 8 to 10 years. They like to do it like clockwork. It just happens. And look around like April, September, around like flu seasons. And then like I just remember that, and like a year later,
this hit.
I'm just like, are you? And where are the flu deaths? What's the flu death count right now?
It's up there as it's
like 1,000.
It's never been any different. Like, why do we not keep those into account?
Millions of people have died every year historically from the flu, just as a fact. And now we have no numbers on it.
Interesting. But see, that brings more into question. Like, is this something that was man-made, created, and is it to kind of interrupt someone's different? Like, a lot of people will say China did this just to kind of fuck with us and kind of ruin our economy in a sense. But then again, there's so many fucking conspiracies out there. What if it's Big Brother trying to finally bring one world government together?
Yeah, it is. It's Agenda 21.
Well, that's what I love about this too. Is like unfortunately, I know that you've done research and you know about this all and stuff too, but we are not 100% sure of what it technically is.
So this is like, I'll give you my theory on it, and it's actually like really, really simple. Like it shouldn't be as sometimes the simplest explanation is the best one, right? But I've never heard this idea floated out. What if they secretly sequenced the flu virus and found out there's like 7 or 8 different variants? What if they just secretly found that out and they didn't tell us about it? Bill Gates discovered that in his research, or the WHO, whatever, by experimenting on all these different like little animals. Like maybe it's not like, maybe it did hop from an animal, but maybe the reason why we don't have flu counts is the fact that people are catching the fucking flu, and they have different variants, and we've always had different variants throughout human history, and we've only been able to detect it till now. Because think about it. Think about people that you've had, like, previous pandemic that would get the flu, right? Their symptoms would always range depending on the person. Some people get it more in the stomach. Some people had more like chest things. Just remember when I was a kid, people growing up with me.
Yeah,
That's
and you
what I
do
noticed with the flu.
you do hear people giving it
Stomach
different.
flu.
Yeah, exactly. The stomach flu. Oh, I got a head cold.
Yeah,
Something like
what
that.
If, what if just they just figure that out? Just throwing it out there,
Yeah.
and then
That's the beauty of this conversation and this what we're
I
doing.
hope I don't get you canceled.
No, oh, see, this is what
this is a touchy subject.
this is what I love is, and even if I do get canceled or this thing doesn't
I
get
got banned for a
on
week
air,
once.
whatever. The only thing is like we are portraying ideas and thoughts that like nobody does anymore in this sense. Like
Yeah.
it's really hard
Making
because
it scary.
you have to listen to somebody that really wants to talk in this sense. But oh, there it is. I got cut. Boom. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh shit, that was all sad.
On this end, it said that there was no data, but now it says excellent connection. We're back. But yeah.
Oh shit, maybe they're fucking with us.
But dude, that's the beauty of the human world. Like, it's so mysterious still to us that like any of these little ideas or any of these things can still be a possibility. Like,
it's really weird to see people just jump into lockstep, right? Just all of a sudden, like people just like, man, all right, quit going to work. Like, get in line. We're all going to wear the mask.
you think that's more of like a sheeple kind of thing?
It's terrifying. It's really weird. I never thought I would see Americans fall into lockstep on. I was like, dude, nobody's gonna put up with that bullshit. I think people are starting to wake up now a little bit around town. I see people going out a lot more.
Yeah,
They're starting to live their life a lot more. I see people out on the trails.
Okay, so that's the shitty part though, is like you'll see people wanting to go live life and stuff more, and then all of a sudden you'll have naysayers in the background that are just like, you're not supposed to be doing that. I'm calling the cops, and then that kind of like. I mean, obviously, it'd be. I would be like, "Shut up, leave me alone." But other people would probably be like scared and like, "Oh,
I
no."
haven't encountered that yet, so that kind of makes me think that if people just tried it, just go out there and try to like not do that, let's see what happens. That's what I thought at the beginning. I was like, "There's no way businesses would get behind this."
Yeah.
You know, but you know what happened? The government offered them a fat check. They offered them all these loans, all these paycheck guarantees, and businesses know how to write that shit off and make it work for them too.
Interesting.
Government welfare for businesses, corporate welfare.
Not only that, they'll help all their employees and stuff that aren't working. Might as well give them more incentive.
Dude, some people came in hiring their employees back. Like, how are you going to tell a server, at a brewery around town to go back to work right now with the unemployment they're getting?
Or even
they're not
then,
going to want to.
Even then, they're like, "Oh, we can't hire all of you guys, but we could probably hire 2 of you back."
Right.
Because it's like,
and you're going to be doing more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's in a weird.
It's weird.
Weird time right now.
Yeah.
But I do think that aliens have something to do with this, though. I don't know.
I think it's a distraction.
All alien encounters are distracting.
I think the ones that are putting.
You don't think aliens have ever been here?
Oh no! Yeah, I don't.
The reptilian draconian.
Dude,
George Bush.
I don't think they're gray beings.
No, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think they're like gray beings from outer space because that gets into a different thing about what I believe.
Okay, so do you believe? Here's a great question. Do you believe that there's multiple races of aliens out there?
No, they're all the same thing. It's all interdimensional.
What is interdimensional though? To me, interdimensional is just like
spiritual, like
entities, tapping in the
like
mind,
4D, 5D, planes that like we
can't comprehend,
can't dive with yet.
Because I kind of like to babble in it, but like when you kind of see like vapor waves on a highway,
right?
That's kind of like being able to see in another.
It's like breaking the simulation for a second.
But it's obviously science how it's done and stuff because no, it is. Well, they explain it and how it's done.
Yeah,
but if
it's a constructed world, then what the fuck is science really other than a program somebody tinkers with? If you're going with a simulation.
But that's where we're at now. Is like, are we in a simulation where obviously our technology advances so fast that it can't keep up with what's happening in the simulation? So we're kind of going to catch up with the simulation. So we're just like, holy fuck, this is fake.
What if we're in some kind of like hellscape that the elites are putting this in? What if we're in like some kind of like fucked up version of like purgatory that there's like elite classes of people and rulers on earth and they're subjugating the greater. This is a little bit crazier shit. This isn't an idea I've fleshed out all the way either. But if you tie all that in together, I don't know, man. I feel like that they're trying to keep us away from some spirituality. You keep seeing like elites through history just hiding different technologies and different artifacts and shit, different key points like Iraq. Like before we went to Iraq, like they went and like cleaned out the museums and hit a whole bunch of shit. You know.
Interesting.
Same with the Nazis when they were doing their marauding, they're just taking all these crazy artifacts all from like God knows where, just like stashing them. Like, what are they doing with all that shit?
Same thing with like the
ancient technology, ancient. Oh man, now we're getting into like the
So-
ideas of like blood sacrifice.
So do you
and-
think? So do you think then that there was an ancient civilization here before us that kind of like got
was
extinct?
powered on human blood and misery?
Whatever, like
Yeah.
even just like
yeah, that's
even
what
just
you
the,
call satanic. I think it's. I think that's what. I think people. Yeah.
but that's giving it a very general idea, like
Yeah.
especially Satanism. Like,
Of
oh
course,
great,
no,
let's
I don't
go.
mean. Yeah, we're not going into like the satanic like religion.
But evil, like
I
bad.
mean, like just like against human nature. Whenever I use that term, I just mean against goodness and like human nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? This is PC culture, so we need to know these proper
I
terms.
guess we gotta. We gotta.
We gotta know when Satan isn't around. Okay.
I didn't know Satanism went woke.
It's so, dude, you would be surprised, especially with how many people actually try to identify as a certain religion now. Not only is gender becoming a thing, but now they actually can identify more and like, well, what if I am atheist or what if I am a Satanist? Are you really going to condemn me from buying stuff from here? I'm just like, whoa. Like, first of all, we're still
I
trying
don't
to...
think anybody ever really asks the question like who around me is atheist or Satanist on a daily
Not yet.
basis.
Not yet.
I don't think they're ever going to be a big enough percentage of the population for people to give a shit.
They're just like, well, especially if you're more of a libertarian, you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But obviously...
I think most people don't take them seriously.
I would just well, again, Satanism isn't bad. I would totally be a Satanist. Like, it's all about being justified in your own self, like being your own person.
Maybe, but who said that? Some guy who created a Church of Satanism, Aleister Crowley or some
It's
shit.
the same thing. I'll take
That's
the. I'll
fuck that guy. Like fuck anybody who thinks that they could just like found a religion and have a bunch of people follow.
dude, don't even get me started with the Mormons,
some
dude.
wild country shit.
Oh my god, there's some religions that are just straight up cults. I don't know how they
I mean,
get away with
yeah,
it though.
yeah.
Oh man, I see. I don't want to be an asshole.
Well,
but
it's just I think it's like with spirituality. Like I don't get mad at all Christianities or all churches, whatever. There are like good people, good churches. I mean, there are churches. I mean, it's not being a hypocrite, right?
no, obviously
That's
not.
obviously. I mean, that's the only thing I really care about. Is like, are you a hypocrite or not? In terms of like beliefs, it's like I've never really cared too much.
You're good. What's up? Do you want to go grab another one?
Yeah, should I?
Go do it. I'll just keep these people entertained. Thank you guys again for watching. We got 6 viewers. You guys are awesome. Yeah. Making everything happen. Maurice, it's oil filled country. Yeah. Dope. Thank you guys for joining. If you're in the chat, give me a shout out. Let me know what's up. Give us some topics to talk about. We're just ranting right now, talking about random stuff. Again, I am a firm believer that aliens are out there. I don't think they're from Antarctica, though, or interdimensional. Maybe I just don't understand that concept as much as I should, but they have to be like out there from another country, like not another country, another planet where they just like kind of form and like they have different materials and stuff. Like, do you think there's more to the periodic table than there is?
Like more elements
and more different like aspects of it?
I think a lot of like science in general, and this is where I probably get some pushback from people out there. It's like with the periodic, I mean, I feel like there's definitely a truth out there, right? In terms of the puzzle, solving the puzzle, universe, physics, gravity, on all that. I think once you start trying to constrain things to like tables and charts and graphs and
it becomes harder.
Elements, it just becomes. Well, I think you're trying to hide shit. It's like once you start trying to categorize and pigeonhole things like that, it's kind of like.
Isn't it more of like an understanding of it though? I feel like that.
I feel like maybe they're fucking with us.
No,
maybe there's like thousands of elements,
but
and then they only tell us that there's 150, and they know this. They probably know this for a fact that there's more. They're just not going to tell us that they don't know.
So, but do you honestly believe that?
They're not going to tell. Like, you see how they like add elements every so often, but they don't tell us that they know that there's more elements out there.
But is it a sense where like these scientists are actually come up with these elements, and then it gets pushed down from higher power, like fucking government officials and shit like that, and then it ends up getting little by little
DMT aliens.
Oh, dude.
Interdimensional aliens and science.
Oh man.
These elite scientists.
So right now,
Just kidding,
okay? Here's an example though. Right now, if you think we took DMT, there would be interdimensional aliens right here among us.
Would be the elves, right?
Would they be elves? Would they be the reptilians?
Aliens?
Would they be greys?
Nah, reptilians.
Would they be the Pleiadians? You know who I'm talking about when I say Pleiadians, them damn Nazis.
I think I do.
That,
I get
dude,
a little lost on this stuff.
Even Hitler even talked about seeing these premonitions of aliens that look just like these angelic beings with white hair.
I think those are the elves. I think we might be talking about the same thing.
As far as I know, they were called the
What
alien
did he call them?
Pleiadians.
Pleiadians. He gave them a specific name.
Well, not only them, but there's other people that have given specific names. But the way he describes seeing these aliens, he doesn't describe them with big heads and gray bodies, small. He describes them as figures like us, but angelic with gold hair, blue eyes, and a multiple of them.
Okay.
So that's like literally just one race of alien called the Pleiadians. And have you ever seen a show on TBS called It was about aliens. Oh god damn! I can't believe I can't remember what it was called.
Battlestar?
No, it was a comedy. There was these three aliens where one was a gray, one was a Pleiadian, and one was a reptilian. It's really recent too. Oh, I can't believe I fucking can't remember that. But see, there it is again. Is where that desensitization where they're just like, oh, let me show you the same thing. I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but they've even described some of the king reptilian aliens in the same manner as fucking Darth Maul. Like he looks exactly like.
Dude, don't get me started with Disney and the Nazi connection. This is all part of it.
This is what it is. Yeah, like literally, how they must have some kind of knowledge.
So this is a little bit of So Jack Parsons, right? The inventor of jet fuel.
Okay.
Like he's responsible for like modern rocketry. Like he's why there's a NASA program. Before there's a NASA program, Werner von Braun, Hitler, and other American scientists just to hang out, and they would have seances and trip on DMT, and then they would have these things with the elves, and then Parsons is on record saying, like, maybe not on record, but within the group, having said that he invented the fuel after getting the technology from these beings.
Interesting.
And jet fuel was like a holy grail, right? It was like a holy grail in science around that time. Like they were really trying to figure out like how do we get like out of this atmosphere, because they just discovered flight. They didn't master flight, but they understood it pretty well. The next thing, of course, humans are like, well, how the fuck do we get out of here? You don't
think that there was some kind of understanding before then, though, of like space and being
technology?
Of getting out of here?
Maybe they've been talking with them for a long time.
That's the beauty.
Maybe the elite have been talking to them for a long time, been using science and science bureaucracies to access these beings.
In a sense, like them.
Vatican, maybe.
I don't know. See, that's I hate that.
Why are they in Antarctica?
Are they?
Yeah.
The Vatican is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's only a few countries in the Vatican.
Why though?
Exactly. What's there? What's behind the ice wall?
So and then that brings that brings to a sense too. What the fuck is
aliens, bro?
Is the world
interdimensional beings?
Well, again,
hollow interdimensional Earth.
Oh, the hollow Earth theory.
It's not straight the hollow Earth theory, but it's a variant.
It's kind of around there.
Realms, man.
That I wouldn't totally
Lord of the Rings
deny that. Like, dude, how fucked up is the ocean life without even knowing that we can't even go to the deepest part?
Dolphins probably do.
No, not dude. Dolphins
they know that we can go there.
How smart are dolphins though? Are they smarter than what my dog is?
Yeah.
Or do they have the same brain capacity?
They would like save your dog.
So my dog would probably save a dolphin.
No, on land.
My dog could swim. What are you trying to say?
I don't know, man.
She's never been to swimming practice.
Not like a dolphin.
Well, that's probably true, but I mean, still, that's the beauty of the brain, right? Because we technically don't understand it, but yet everybody or everything has it. For instance,
going back to dolphins, they have a whole different part of the brain
that works.
That people don't. Yeah, that animals don't have. That other animals don't have. Basically.
Interesting. Yeah. But wouldn't that be the same thing with like a dog or something? Like their acute smell and stuff like that? Isn't that some receptor in their brain that's working?
But theirs is on the frontal lobe, which is fucking next level.
But it's just enhanced, right?
It's like echo. What if Yeah, this is why I'm fascinated by dolphins and octopuses too, especially. But like,
Or even, I mean, I'm throwing the mammals out there because they deserve some credit too.
yeah,
But even the fucking bat, like a bat, is amazing.
bats are pretty weird creatures.
The fact
for
that
sure.
first of all they can fly, but
They're blind.
and they're blind. They have this great sonar or this fucking hearing detection that is just amazing. But yet they still birth kids like a fucking like a fucking mammal. You know,
Yeah.
That blows me away too. That there's only certain animals that actually can take flight, but yet still have these abilities like enhanced in some way.
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder how the fuck they evolved.
In the tree, right?
Yeah.
There's this great YouTube channel called Tier Zoo. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's great. He analyzes like the time periods of animals when they came out and puts them on a tier list and all. He has hundreds of videos.
Like when they came out, like throughout the period of human history.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
that's cool.
he'll the Jurassic period, the Mesozoic. He'll tell you all about them. He'll even but he tells them in like a video game kind of sense, like, you know, this was the patch note for the Mesozoic era, and these were the abilities that these animals had, and
That's
why they
cool.
had them and stuff. He even tells you about special abilities that some animals have, like, you know, that there's this ant that actually explodes on contact. It literally combusts on fire.
That's hilarious.
So
what a funny ant.
So yeah, to think of the evolutionary tree that it had to go through to get to that spot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this shit's a weird simulation, right? This is some kind of weird program that somebody just hit start, and like we're hitting like the end, like the pixels are running out of the screen, and like we're fucking up right now.
It's
'cause
like that.
it.
It's like that Rick and Morty episode.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen Rick and Morty?
I started watching one episode, started laughing so hard. I haven't watched. It was the very first episode. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's amazing.
pretty fucking
Yo,
funny.
dude, everything we're talking about and shit. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's in that show.
It's funny though. You mentioned paleontology and Mesozoic era. Do you know about the Great Fossil Wars?
I don't. Tell me more.
So the godfathers of modern paleontology, before people get too hyped on dinosaurs, the guys that they're relying most of their science on basically were inventing fossils against each other and like just showcasing all these fake fossils against one another.
Like when fossils were barely starting to be discovered?
Yeah. Then they kind of became like the authority on it a little bit. I'm not sure what the common lexicon is, but there's two guys, like two rival paleontologists that were just digging up shit left and right. Be like, I got the next biggest dinosaur.
So in like the 1840s?
Yeah, is that the year you're giving?
There's these two guys that are on here, the Great Fossil War, and then this talks about this guy here, 19th century paleontologist, and emerged in a running battle over dinosaur discovery in the American
It
West.
sounds like it's these guys.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're kind of churching it up a little. But yes.
Fighting over.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, fighting over fossils, difficulties, individuals. Interesting.
Yeah, right?
So what are you trying to say though? Is that like a bunch of these ideas of dinosaurs are probably not what it is? Like these depictions that they made, they're like, hey, we found this bone. Hey, we found this bone. This means it's this dinosaur. It's probably not.
They're probably projecting a lot of that shit out there. Not saying they never existed, but how many actually did?
Well, I have this thing too, is like, how do we really know how history happened? We were never
You
really
see how
there.
science keeps trying to prescribe things and put things in neat little boxes and just tell us it's like a fact.
This
right?
is in this era.
Yeah,
this is in
it.
this time.
Oh, this is it. This is a fact. Like, oh, don't forget. Don't talk about those guys. Like, how about chiropractic? This is another funny story. The founder of chiropractic, modern day chiropractic medicine, was a fraudster.
Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah.
And his son murdered him for the business, and he popularized it and made it explode across the country.
Do we have to start talking about Mormonism? Jesus, Joseph Smith was
It's
a
not as
fucking little
not as
kid.
exciting to me.
But, dude,
Mormons are hilarious because they're so rich.
And they own, dude, they're everywhere, dude. They send their missionaries all over the
I know.
world, dude. They fucking have so much influence out there, dude. And
Yeah,
then
it's
a
crazy.
little Ethiopian kid is like, I'll listen to whatever you say because you're giving me water. Like, that's, oh,
Dude, my uncle's married to a Mormon.
really?
He's balling out of control.
Wait, he's a Mormon too then?
I
Did he,
guess
is he
he has
gonna-
like 7 kids from her now, just knocking her up like just every other year.
So is
well,
he-
they're in their 40s now, probably not anymore.
is he kind of like teaching the kids more about Mormonism and
I
their
don't think he cares, dude. My family, I think I have some weird history in my family. I had an uncle that married Mormon women, right? This guy.
Interesting.
And then I had another uncle that got, I don't know if he's still with her or not. I got to talk to my Uncle Ray because he don't look too good on Facebook.
Okay.
Hope he's not watching Uncle Ray.
Shout out Uncle Ray.
But he was married to like a Jehovah's Witness for a long time and then just quit coming to any family functions.
Well, you can't.
I guess so.
I don't know.
That's the rule.
In my old band, I had a band member who, him and his brother were not Jehovah, but his family were Jehovah, and they would tell me about all the crazy shit that they had to do. It's like my parents don't celebrate Christmas, they don't celebrate birthdays, they don't celebrate any really holidays.
Is it like a Stoic thing?
I think so because there's only really the passing or whatever that really is
the Paso? What is it?
Like
a funeral?
No, well the coming of Jesus whenever like he was killed or whatever.
Oh, the resurrection?
And then the 3-day thing.
Well, that's the best. Easter's the best one.
But still, even then though, it's like that story in itself is like ridiculous because of
awesome.
They I don't know if you've ever had have you ever seen a movie called Zeitgeist?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I remember that's the one that gets people started, right?
Dude,
that's how everybody gets into this shit.
2008, I was
that
balling.
And Loose Change, right?
Loose Change, Final Cut.
Yeah, Loose Change did a lot for people.
But do you think that was just a way for the government to be like, oh, hey, here you go, desensitize these guys, or literally people were being innovative and trying to figure out more about life?
Man, I'm trying to pin down the question here. Like with the film in particular, or just the spiritual ideas that they're putting out, or the idea of the deep state corrupt, like, because they hit so much in that movie.
Yeah, so do you think it was more of like a moral thing that these people were trying to portray, and then the government saw and they're like, yeah, that's fine, let's just throw this out there? Or it literally came from the government? I think
that was a phenomenon. I think that movie was a phenomenon of the internet a little bit. I think I sometimes like, I don't think now, but I think that was probably like one of the last great documentaries that got like slipped through the cracks and like hit mainstream without the government touching it, you know?
Okay.
I think definitely they're a lot more on point about it right now, right? With the bannings of, I mean, fucking A, the White House is calling out Joe Rogan, like, by name.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this shit's getting, like, really insane.
And that's crazy.
Makes me wonder about Joe Rogan. Like, is he, like, a planted, like, foil? Like, is he a planted, like, soft, like, guy that can, like, target every once in a while in the media?
Well, now it feels that way, especially with
the Spotify deal.
Yeah,
right?
with how much publicity he's gotten. Like even to a sense, when he was on YouTube, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah,
because like, you know, it was still kind of like the Joe Rogan Experience. Only dedicated fans know about it, even though it was in the millions. It was still just kind of at a certain level.
Dude, once I learned it wasn't going live, that's when I stopped watching.
Really?
Like, it's only recorded now.
But there's still no cuts. That I assume, I guess.
See, a lot of people like interpreted this turn to Spotify for Rogan as like being very positive. Like, oh yeah, he's never going to be censored. And I had a different view. I was like, no, he's going to work for a corp. He's an employee now.
There's already a bunch of episodes that aren't on there no
I know,
more.
man. And all the best ones. Like, literally the most meaningful, thoughtful episodes. Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, right.
You're pulling Jordan Peterson episodes? A guy's telling people to like straighten up their life at home and to be better fathers and husbands. Like,
it's I don't know. See, that's kind of fucked up.
He's like, do you know about Jordan Peterson? He's targeted all the time.
Yeah, well, that's kind of,
he's like dying right now.
That's
much.
That's kind of shitty to think about too, is because like people like that didn't really want this publicity. Like, same thing with Eric Weinstein. Like, that guy is like on another level, intelligent. He knows so much about the world, but now that he's out there and we're hearing these ideas,
I think like, especially with Eric and Brett Weinstein, like, they're pretty liberal guys, right? But
they understand so much of all aspects. Right. That's the beautiful thing about them.
For me, they're a symbol of like, you're okay with it probably all through the 80s and 90s, but people don't understand until it happens to them. And then like when people like Eric Weinstein and Brett Weinstein have that censorship happen to them, you know, when they're being completely reasonable, that's when you really set off movements like this.
And that's crazy to think about too. Is like it all started with just Brett Weinstein getting like, he's a biologist and he just got turned down with talking about science in a certain way that kind of offended more like LGBT community and stuff like that, to a sense that they actually got him canceled. He got fired from his job.
What was it? He refused to bend the knee and not go to work on day without a white person on
Yeah,
campus.
yeah.
That's what it was. They wanted all white people to stay home from campus out there at Evergreen.
And that made no sense. That still makes no sense. And I hate to
It's
be this.
racist.
I hate to be this person too. Is like I kind of like Steven Crowder a lot too.
I like Crowder.
He's a good guy, but there are some shit about him that I don't really stand. But
Yeah.
he does have some facts that really surprise me, and just like there's no actual conservative professors out there as well either.
Dude, no.
Like you can't get this idea of the world because it's only one-sided in
Dude.
most of our educational finance and institutions. Like it's kind of shitty. Like,
Dude, my political science education at UNM, man, you get this shit like full experience. Like, I had a big red flag. I was taking politics ethics groups class. It was like poli sci 310 or something, you know.
Okay.
And I had a Hispanic teacher, and then you know we got to the section. It was like, oh, Hispanics in the U.S. and politics. I'm like, oh wow, this is gonna be cool, right? We're gonna learn. What do you keep hearing about? Oh, Cuba, this, Puerto Rican representatives, that. Like, you hear about all these movements, dude. Mexicans, like, are the largest Latino group, right, in the United States.
yeah.
Not represented in our government at all.
And
Cubans crushed them in representation. And you see what it is, right? They co-opt certain groups. They do it really early on, maybe with mob influence, casino influence, Miami, Cuban. But, like, the average working class Mexican who's been here for hundreds of years in the Southwest, you know, they're not gonna rise to have a voice in the government. So,
And dude, it's crazy to think about too is how many of them are here. Like if you really think about it, I hate to be this kind of fucking douchebag, but dude, every landscaper, every fucking really like a dingy worker from
Right.
like a car washer, from like, you know, McDonald's server and
the
stuff
hardest
like that,
jobs.
is always usually a Hispanic person.
Yeah.
And that blows me away too, is like they're here and they know the aspect of the job. They're like, I know I'm getting paid fucking $10 an hour, or I know that this guy on top
A
of
lot
me.
of them are legal, right?
Yeah, some of them
Like,
do.
a lot of them are just straight illegal.
Yeah,
Let's be real, in Albuquerque.
But that's
like,
not. How bad is that when they actually contribute to so much of society's like outcome?
It's not bad. No, it's not bad. But at the same time, I think like there's an undeniable crisis at the border right now. I think that shit is going ham. And I mean, they harp on COVID tests, right? They're harping on safety in the United States. They're banning travel. I don't know if you saw, they're banning people from India entering the country.
Yeah, see, and that's what's crazy too.
And they called Trump all kinds of shit at the beginning when he wanted to stop travel to and from China. You know, Pelosi was saying, no, go to Chinatown, go party in the streets.
We still should be able to go back and forth.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
now it's just like so taboo.
And
now.
maybe if we would have just did it right away, right? Maybe if we would have just shut down travel right away, we could have made off a lot better. But it's weaponized, right? It's a never-ending news cycle. Trump's out of office. This is the next crisis they're allowing to happen. You're gonna watch CNN, and you're gonna see all these guys play this shit up in the next few weeks, on top of other.
And that was
going on.
and that was the shittiest part about this whole thing is like Trump's an asshole. He's so stupid, but he stirred up shit that nobody else did.
Yeah,
Like again, I hate to
I don't
bring
even
this
think
up.
I don't even think he's stupid. I just don't think he
wasn't-
gives a fuck.
Well, he was.
Like, what if you really don't give a fuck?
He's really one of those presidents that didn't have to worry about any political output from anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I need money from this person, dude. He had.
And that was a good thing.
Yeah, he
That
had
was a
all
good
the money
thing,
he
not taking the
needed.
donations. Like those elections, like was it both elections he didn't take?
He didn't do
money?
any really at all. Like
Yeah.
everything was all fundraised, like
And
in
how-
his own
yeah,
sense.
But you know, he let down a lot of people there at the end too, no doubt. Like down the last couple months of the presidency, I think he had a chance to turn some things, but let's be honest, they buried that Hunter Biden shit, right?
Yeah.
The media fucking tucked that under the bed, and then Hunter Biden's out there fucking. Did you see the book deal he's getting? And he's going to lecture at Tulane University.
Oh no.
He's got a lecturing. He's on a lecturing circuit now.
See, and that's so shitty too because those are different ideas that there's a lot of
Did you
people
see
that
the pics with his teeth?
aren't pricking that out. No.
Look up Hunter Biden crack teeth. This is real. He addressed this on like mainstream television, daytime television. He was going around on the interview circuit. Just look at this.
Well, oh yeah.
Fucking shark teeth.
And then the craziest other thing too is like all the stuff that Tucker Carlson was kind of talking about, the way he was kind of making.
Like, what kind of maniac takes a selfie of that?
That's people trying to like be internet famous, dude.
Have you seen the one with him pulling the hair of hookers?
He does that.
Oh, dude.
Hunter Biden pulling hair and
I hate
hookers.
to hate on Hunter Biden, but he also like tried to hit on his ex-wife's daughter,
Dude, well, I mean, this
like 13-year-old daughter.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did see this one.
Yeah, looks like a great time.
Oh, dude, but that's so
Look
crazy.
at that smile.
He's just he's just
He's got the
living.
teeth done up.
He's
No more
living
cracked teeth.
living life, and if that lady accepts what's going on, what's wrong with that?
Oh, no, it's consent. No, but at the same time, like that was on your laptop that the media said didn't exist.
Dude, what do you want me to say? Like that just happened.
He needs to be in jail.
But dude, that's what's so fucked up though is like you have these outliers and stuff that come out at certain times. Like
Yeah.
like I hate to say this, but something fucked up with Epstein where he actually
Oh,
did
dude,
mess. He
don't
messed.
get me in.
He messed
Don't
up.
get me into
He
this.
messed up so bad in the top politics where they're just like,
Did he mess up?
well, then why?
Is he alive?
Okay, that's okay. Whoa, whoa,
Is that Stu still alive? I don't know. Is Timothy McVeigh still alive?
Dude,
I don't know.
is this the same thing as Tupac being alive? Because
No.
this can't be.
No, I mean, I'm kind of joking with the Epstein shit. But at the same, that one's a mystery. That one is a mystery to me, dude. It's still all been a mystery to me. Why they got him at the certain time that they chose to pick him up. Excuse me. I mean, we've known about Epstein in the fucking conspiracy realm for years, decade. Like
Yeah.
at least 6 years I know about Epstein. It was just like, oh, they're never going to get this guy. Like, you know, and then all of a sudden it happened. You start to wonder why. You start to ask why. I wonder what's going to happen with Ghislaine. They're really not covering her case at all in the media anymore. They're not talking about it much.
Well, I think they got rid of what they needed to do, and like anything else, like that.
No, dude. Do you know about Ghislaine Maxwell's family?
I don't.
Her dad, Robert Maxwell, was an English. He's from Czechoslovakia originally. He was a massive billionaire in England. He owned all the media out there. He owned like The Sun. He owned a couple of other newspapers. He made his big money. You're not gonna believe this. Smuggling weapons like from Israel to certain war zones as like a spy runner, like for like 20, 30 years while he was this book publishing magnate.
Okay.
Died mysteriously on a yacht. They said he fell over while he was naked, standing on the edge of his yacht in the early 90s. And that was her dad.
Oh shit.
Her sister is like a fucking tech geek, like has tech software companies. Ghislaine Maxwell has a TED Talk. You can watch it.
Okay.
She has a TED Talk on Terra Mara about this underwater sea company that looks like a scam. But TED Talks let her in.
Right.
And dude, her family comes from like these Eastern European, like Jewish crazy elites, and they've been running. I mean, sex trafficking, torture rings. This is where we start getting into adrenochrome. This is where we start getting into like really, really crazy shit. It's not Epstein.
Okay.
It's not Epstein. The real question is why is Maxwell locked up and how is she going to end up?
And
Epstein was the fucking the American front. He was like the face keeping shit on lock in the U.S.
Okay. So it's just like oh man, that's crazy to think about too.
Dude, you can verify what I just told you about Robert Maxwell too.
And that's what's crazy to think about too. Is again, like we think that it's so many political pawns at a certain level, but it's totally just.
This is where you get to George Soros, because George Soros and him came from the same area,
interesting.
and they are Marxists.
And
they were Marxists.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is some kind of shit that makes you wonder if they're in there with the Clintons and the Bushes, and they're all fucking these kids. And George H.W. Bush is talking about New World Order in 1990.
Yeah, right?
You seen that speech?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Dude, I don't...
This is some infiltration on some deeper level. They use human trafficking, human misery to like keep them in check. And that's old world shit thinking, right? That's like some old world dark magic like symbolism.
Like the sacrifices that Bohemian
This is
Grove.
this is the best way I can describe what I think is going on with our government and the state of the world right now. The pandemic, I think, is just they're putting it out there right now as a big punch in the face, because there's a certain belief in the spirituality, especially like when you're coming to like dark and light magic, is that for the perpetrators of dark magic, to be successful at what they're doing, they have to like put it out there and have the public accept it. Like they have to show their hand and tip their hand without being outright with it.
Yeah.
And then
they just take full control.
Well, that's yeah. It only takes 10% really to change the whole world.
Well, you see
mindset of the whole world.
Yeah, you see that all the time with the way that people are influenced in a certain way, where they're just like, "Oh, fucking, you have to go tell on your neighbor if they're not wearing a mask."
This is snitch culture. This is gulag. This is gulag 101. This is brown shirts 101. This is Star of David. This is IBM punch cards.
But then again,
in the 1920s.
Do you think that we have enough resistance to kind of fight this? Because there are
we're showing we don't. America itself is showing that we don't have any heart for any kind of conflict right now, and everybody's falling into line, which is really against the American spirit.
But how do you say that about Texas? How do you say that about
Texas
Florida?
Texas is the shit.
How do you
sadly,
say that about Arizona?
They're still the minority. But the thing is, they're armed, and those people do respect the Constitution. And other states, we come to realize that some states and the federal government overall views the Constitution as a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like, the best we could hope for is that some states pretend to pledge to some version of a constitution, like Texas and Florida are doing,
and Arizona
and
shit like that. But don't you think with the uprise of what's going on, more people will understand? Like, holy shit, maybe the ideas of where we're at right now, like California and how liberal they are and stuff like that, we need to kind of stray away from that and still have our liberal ideas, but accept the ideas of conservatives and the right wing.
I think we got to be real as a population and start to understand like nuances of language and linguistics a little bit better, because we got to understand that one side here, I think, is definitely taken over and just subjugated the language, the verbiage, like words meanings are just changed on the daily. Like, political correctness is the ability to like change the meanings of words on the fly to call something offensive and this or that. Like a classical liberal would be conservative by any measure today in the United States. Like a classical true liberal, the words of like John Stuart Mill or like any of those, John Locke, you know, any of our founders, like any of those guys would be fucking called a Nazi today.
And that's so shitty, because those ideas are where they came from.
Yeah, but that's what it tells you, is that the left isn't, that they're not really about being liberal. They want power. Like, they want get back. That's what I think. Like, I think that they play this narrative for a long time about racial justice and segregation, and you know, I have some theories on Democratic Party overall and how it really operates and what they really believe, but I mean, I think they've just weaponized it the whole time through their history, and they never really have changed, and we're just seeing some more aspects of that, at least a big wing in our government. And then I think the other side just doesn't know what to do because they're being mollywopped with this shit, and they can't win the culture war. Yeah, because conservatives don't win. I mean, just by nature, conservatives won't win. If they don't want things to change, they want to hold on to what they have. Like, they're not going to be geared to be able to influence culture the way progressives are. You know, they're going to be more that's energetic about it.
Yeah, that's the whole sense of their name. Yeah. It's like the movement and trying to change and become different to better enhance the way of life or whatever. But in a sense,
I do think they want power. I think it is get back. Like, they're not decreasing the amount of laws, right? The idea of like a progressive liberal would like be decreasing laws and decreasing people in prison. But the way we're going to be locking more people up for mask violations, vaccine violations. You're not going to be able to fly on a plane. You're not going to be able to hang out in certain parts of the restaurant. You already saw what Biden said, right, in a speech the other day. He said if you're vaccinated, you can go out and live life as normal. But if you're not...
yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah. You're literally putting people already in like a group.
Caste system, by science.
You think it's... Yeah, like,
it's a caste system by science.
Like, just to make sure that people are like...
to fall in line.
Herded a certain way. It starts
now with something simple biological. 10 years, 20 years from now, Elon Musk and Bill Gates have merged to fucking create a mind helmet device, you know, reminiscent of Peter Bergeron from Kurt Vonnegut short story.
Well, fucking Neuralinks, right? Are you not ready for Neuralinks?
I'm not excited about it.
I want to.
I question
Why?
One for each nut.
Dude, how would they not be pleasurable, dude? So fucking amazing.
No, I don't want no Neuralink. That shit's the devil.
How do see that's already categorizing it in a certain way. Especially if we're in a simulation style, like what is that not the actual enhancement of the next level?
But what if we're not?
Who knows?
What if we're not, and then humanity falls into it, and then we're just all slaves to our computer, and then 100 years from now we're all fucking Skynet from Terminator.
But see,
this is where we're heading, dude, with this AI.
That's
shit.
too post-apocalyptic. It's not too
good. It's not good. But I rewatched that again the other day, dude. Have you seen that movie recently?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, do they call it? Like that shit's happening right now, I think.
So you wouldn't go with a Tesla? You wouldn't buy a Tesla?
No, I buy a Tesla. I just don't want the Neuralink. Although I am worried about Teslas because, I mean, government assassination by hijacking of cars is already easy enough.
Interesting.
Michael Hastings?
Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah, but still, I'm very skeptical of everything that you're saying.
That's okay.
Because like the thing that I love and the thing that I want to understand more is that technology helps better our society in certain ways.
I do like me and my buddy Mario fucking talk about this all the time. I'm like, is he a good guy or a bad guy? He's like, is he Batman or is he like, Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what the fuck is he? Like we're just always back and forth about it. Because Bill Gates, we all know he's evil. Right?
Yeah, he has more evilistic mentality.
But like, what is Elon up to, man? I wonder why he's so obsessed with space.
But yet you see him do some humble things where you're just like, I really don't want to have all this money.
I wonder why he's going on SNL.
That's kind of okay.
That's kind of bizarre.
Why would an alien not want to broadcast themselves as much as they can?
You think he's an alien?
Either an alien or the most advanced robot we've ever made.
So what if I told you that Elon's dad had some ties to Jack Parson and all those weird little Nazi guys I told you about?
All right. Well, I didn't. Now I need to know.
Because he was into some weird, like, ritualistic shit. There's rumors that he was part of a Satanistic cult where they sacrifice people.
Okay. And do you think that might or something to do with why he named?
He says he hates his dad.
Elon hates his dad,
or he doesn't really get along with them, or he's not close with him.
Elon Musk.
Yeah. Oh, how original. Well, I guess he was the first, so.
Well, how do you feel about like his son's name then?
I can't even pronounce that shit.
But is it something that actually kind of like?
I think he's trolling.
You think so? That actually.
He's the Doge father.
Oh, dude! But if Doge doesn't go to the moon, I don't know what will.
It's like 34 cents tonight.
Yeah, if it does, well, it was pretty high a couple of days ago, right?
Like 29.
20? Really?
Yeah, it's higher now. Dude, it's pumping tonight.
I could have thought
crypto pump.
I could have sure made it up to like 60 one day.
Look at that guy though. Look at the eyes. He definitely had some adrenochrome at some point.
So you think he well, you don't think, you've heard and you've seen that he's actually worked with other inside information, and that's why
he was into some weird cult shit, man.
Elon's dad.
His dad.
But yet you still can't really portray that as like maybe Elon is going to take that in a way or not.
Well, how do you become a billionaire? Like, what are the odds that your dad is into weird? Like, this is the thing you see with all these dudes. Like, what are the odds that like your dad's into weird ritualistic shit and then you just become the world's richest man? Like, what are the odds that Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates both grew up in Albuquerque around the same time? Because they kind of did.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, why do these guys just keep showing up in like weird spots and places and times in history?
Well, see, that's what's crazy to think about too, is how much influence this location has on the world.
Dude, this is a giant military base. The whole state.
Yeah, obviously. I'm pretty sure you knew this, but Los Alamos National Labs can detect any radioactivity anywhere in the world. So,
are you kidding me?
That's the only
this right now.
This is the only place to enter. Like, if radioactivity were to happen anywhere in the world, little noises and fucking the computers go off in Los Alamos, not in fucking New York, not in fucking Hollywood, California. In Los Alamos National Labs.
Well, do you know how many nukes are in Sandia exactly?
Dude,
it's
I'm
the second
scared.
Largest stash.
I honestly feel
We'd be a target.
What is the mountain range that is right behind like kind of Los Lunas?
Manzanos?
Kind of, yeah, where the Kirtland Air Force Base kind of is like tucked into. Like that's
well, isn't Kirtland like right by the Sandias and then the Manzanos, like in that little basin area?
Dude, that's all fucking hollowed out mountain that they just fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the location Meadow Lake? It's kind of like a small probably 30 miles from Albuquerque, like close to Los Lunas. But it's like almost like a trailer park kind of like sanction in that area, Valencia County,
Yeah.
but close to the Sandias and the Manzanos or wherever the mountains are. I have to look it up to see where it's at. But when I was growing up there, you would actually like almost the way that it's lined up is just like all the houses and then acres and acres and acres of just field that just says no trespassing, no whatever.
Weird.
But it's military base. It's all
Really?
military base. Because when I was younger, I would always fucking freak out and shit like that. My parents would tell me stories where they're just like, oh, when you were at school, there was actually a really big explosion and the
shit.
trailer shaked, and we were just like, holy shit, no, it
Just
didn't.
one of those places.
But it was. And then later on, when the internet started became more available and Google Maps and shit like that, we actually Google Mapped, went to our house, and then just kind of traveled in that location to see what's there. Dude, the hugest man-made craters. Like literally, it looks like they bomb test there or do some kind of weird testing in that area.
No doubt.
But to think again, in New Mexico, there's so much stuff that happens that probably influences the whole world.
Yeah. Dude, I remember growing up in Phoenix. Like, do you remember the Phoenix Lights episode?
Oh, okay.
Dude, like, we were there hiking at South Mountain with my dad. We get home. We didn't see it. Be on record, we didn't see it. But we get home in the aftermath of our apartment complex, and that shit is buzzing, man. Everybody's outside with our camcorders. And that's back when you had, like, the big shoulder camcorders with the battery on it and shit.
Okay,
There's just hundreds of people out there in my apartment complex, and everybody was just like, did you guys see that? And my dad's like, no, we were driving back. What'd you see? Just all talking about the lights, showing us the footage on their own, homemade camcorders before everybody got to see that on Discovery Channel, wherever they watch it now. But shit, man. That was some gnarly shit. Like, some of this shit you just can't deny.
Yeah.
What it is, they're not telling us. It's probably government, but where the technology originates is the question.
Oh, yeah, or how they get it. Like, you've heard that whole story with Bob Lazar and shit,
Yeah, the
right?
Bob Lazar guy, that guy is incredible. His story is really believable.
Here.
Yeah.
In fucking New Mexico.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man,
I wonder what to think about him sometimes because, like, the craziest people seem the most sane, most of the time.
Well, see, that's what's crazy to think about, too, is, like, how much of the knowledge that he brings out and then how much people are just like, oh, my God, that's
the thing
real.
is, he was like a legitimate genius by anybody's account mechanically. Like, he rigged a jet engine to power his Volvo or something.
Yeah,
that
like
took to work.
like a jet-powered motorcycle or something
Yeah,
he made.
something stupid.
Oh man, see, yeah, I hate fucking like going through all this stuff because there's so much fucking stuff that you would never fucking. Again, this is all untapped area. Like, why does the government have this much land? Like, that blows me away. So like this.
Oh, here we go.
This is like literally. Oh, it went way too far. So like Albuquerque's up this way, going up this way. You can see Isleta Pueblo.
Okay.
And then again,
of course, it's on an Indian reservation. That's where the government can really hide shit.
Dude, I wonder how much they get away with.
You've seen Missing 411, right?
I haven't actually.
Oh my god. David Politis is like a researcher about all the people that go missing on federal land and federal forests every year for national parks, and he's like, some shit gets banned from time to time, but he just lays it out there. He lays it out what people have claimed they heard and seen, and lists the cases of the missing people, and that's what he does.
Just goes to it.
Sometimes people are missing and they find their shoes and their clothes perfectly placed, like where they're like missing. Sometimes people hear like the sound of like a giant gate crashing, and then people never coming back again. Like hunters, like old dudes, women, like a mix of people.
Oh, okay.
Like thousands of people go missing in national parks
all the time. I could just imagine, dude.
Yeah, just constantly.
And do you think it's just because of like it's activities that happen in like government officials, or is it fucking?
Well, I mean, federal land is where you probably hide your operations in other state, like national parks. Here in our state, we could just do it because the government openly owns the land, right?
Yeah, a bunch of it, dude.
But in Yosemite Park, like if you want to do some weird shit in California, you just probably set up in fucking Yosemite Park and do it if you're the government.
Interesting.
Kidnap some people, some fucking, what's that show that everybody likes on Netflix? Stranger Things. Some Stranger Things shit. I actually don't know what happens in that show. I just assume some people gets kidnapped in a park or something.
I haven't seen that show either, but again, it's one of those hype shows that it's just like, man, is it desensitizing people to actually what's going on?
Yeah. X-Files did that a little bit, but I feel like they were more legit about it. I feel like they were like before, you know. Oh man, I remember being like the kid in like when I was 6 years old, just checking out all the Bigfoot and UFO books at my library, elementary school.
Oh shit. I need to stop fucking just scrolling around this place. But yeah, dude, I fucking hate the government, the way shit works here. It's just
Like in the state?
everywhere. Like obviously in our state, like the way we have so many things hidden, but yet we're still like so many things have happened here that it's just so coincidental, like the Roswell incident.
Yeah, that's
so
a big
weird.
one out there where I'm from, for sure. We love that story.
That is so weird. And then especially knowing more, like, oh man, and you're from Carlsbad, like how many times have you heard stories about the caves? Like those caves go deep. They go into a world where we would never imagine.
You wouldn't believe it, but man, not many cave stories. Bro.
Really?
We're all cool with the caves, man.
I freak out. I went there when I was a kid.
incredible.
I went there when I was a kid, and I was like, this is a fucking a whole other world
It
of
is.
life down there. Like, what the fuck?
And that's just not even what they're showing you. Like, there's so much more.
Imagine, exactly, dude.
I went into a cave with my fucking geology teacher in 10th grade. It wasn't part of the caverns. It was like in a different part of the state, man. We went down straight into the ground, and then we entered some caverns, and I got half my class lost for an hour.
But you went with that
Come
too?
back. Yeah.
You were there and everything?
I was the guy that got us lost. And just sitting there, and you're crawling through mud and sulfur, and it stinks, and it's really an incredible experience to do some real caving.
Fuck,
But the caverns are sick too.
that's sick.
But you gotta get in the stinky mud to do the real caving.
I'll give some quick shout outs to everyone that's in. What is up, Douglas Mike? There was actually a lot of questions. That we
Oh,
were
sweet!
talking
Let's
about.
get them in.
Mario was going crazy too.
Mario likes to go crazy.
Dude, talk about Sasquatch or mountain aliens.
Is that Mario?
Yeah, that was Mario, but that was quite
Mario's about mountain aliens. He's about all kinds of giants and Tartaria. All kinds of other.
Well, there
shit.
is the legend of the giants and stuff like that.
See, I don't know about this one.
More
as
of
much.
like so think of it more as like Greek mythology with the actual titans and stuff like that.
Oh shit!
So they were there. They are actually
worldwide.
Oh, dude, everywhere.
Huh?
And then see, that's the thing though too, is like that's one of those stories too that's so like fuck, is it really something there? Because they say that some of these bones that they discovered that are actually dinosaur fossils or whatever
Right.
were actually more human like in a
shit.
huge
See,
scale.
I could get with that theory a lot more than
And that-
dinosaurs.
And that makes sense too, but how can you not believe in dinosaurs? We have alligators here. Alligators are fucking...
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we're saying the same thing a little. Maybe they're big lizards, but man, not that big. That's so silly.
huge.
That's so silly.
Huge.
But what we're talking about giants. Oh,
and the
why
mount-
does the Smithsonian have 220,000 Native American corpses that they won't release back to tribes?
Do they?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
I could just imagine this.
Probably giants.
Dude, imagine the money and the settlements that they're like trying to hide that the actual Native American people can probably tell us, but they won't.
Dude, I was just thinking maybe Mario's talking about the mountain aliens in the Sandias.
Is there mountain aliens there? Or have there stories of mountain aliens?
I don't know. Bob Lazar. Remember they had the UFO allegedly in the mountains that he said there's 2 UFOs they worked on that definitely came from outer space and one came from within.
Oh, so
He
that
said one came from within the earth.
interesting.
That's why I keep going on with this like interdimensional shit. I'm like, why would Bob Lazar say that?
Interdimensional again is so crazy to think about.
It's hard to, it blows your mind.
Yeah,
it's
'cause
like you get into 4D and quantum physics
It literally-
really quick.
Yeah, because it literally feels like they're among us right now, here in front of us. But yet, unfortunately, we can't tap that plane of
But then
anything.
you see your animals act weird around you sometimes, right? You're just like, what the fuck are you looking at? I'm like, maybe they get a glimpse once in a while, you know?
Dude, that's life though.
Maybe there's once in a while, like, you know, the Matrix is like, I've never seen the Matrix, full disclosure, but what is the token thing in the movie is like, Like if you see the black cat twice, like he knows it's a simulation or he knows it's a glitch or something.
There
like,
you go.
Yeah, I think that's like deja vu. Like when people have like weird dreams or they have deja vu or something like that. I think that's what that is.
That something in
the reality
just glitched or moved.
Yeah, maybe not even the matrix, not even like it's artificial.
Yeah,
just within. I don't know.
See, that's so crazy to think of explaining.
Because whenever I dream, like I don't know about you, but like I know people have like really different experiences dream, like in terms of like feeling happy or sad. I always feel like unnerved.
Okay.
I always feel more like, whoa, where the fuck did I just go?
Well, that's a good thing that you can actually dream, because there's a lot of people when they smoke weed, they don't dream as much.
I don't dream as much, but when I'm really stressed out, I do dream more. And maybe that's why they're kind of like that. But like sometimes it's just like, did this just like happen in like a different realm where I was doing the same thing on like a slightly different day at a slightly different time, or am I just like stressing out about work in my sleep?
And that's the concept.
Because it's so mundane, right? The things you're doing in your dreams sometimes are so mundane. For me,
there's times where it feels like it's lasted longer than just 2 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Where you have a nap and you're just like, what? I
No,
could have swore that was way longer.
Like I talked to like 5 people.
Yeah, right. And the whole span of a day.
Yeah.
Mario's in here. There was still a bunch of stuff that we were talking about. Douglas Mikes says aliens are humans from the future that are suffering from side effects of COVID vaccine, trying to warn us. Makes sense.
A little bit of a Terminator element there.
Mario said the viral society. Check it out. Also check out the 33 Club at Disneyland.
Oh shit! I'm about to turn 33 this year.
Dolphins can rape. They're smarter than dogs. That's what Mario said.
He's right. They rape other species, which is sad.
Giants. Joe Rogan works for Disney.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
He's still under contract with Disney developmental deal.
Don't talk about my hero like that, all right?
Okay, he stopped being my hero, but he's okay once in a while.
Don't talk about my hero.
I will fight Joe Rogan just like Jake Paul fought Ben Askren.
Oh my god, do not make me laugh right now. King Hazy.
Only in a boxing match.
King Hazy, what is up? If I ever come on the show, it's going to be classic. Hit me up in the DMs. We'll see if we can get something set up. You should show the timestamp. And when he said that, we were going on for 1 hour and 6 minutes. Douglas Mikes says, it's weird how so many people will cheer on the representation of only one side of politics when it comes to academia, media, entertainment, and social media. Having an open dialogue is good. And King Hazy wants to call in. Don't have a call-in number at the moment.
King Hazy.
Douglas, again, says the good thing about Trump was he pissed off both the Democratic and Republicans.
Yeah, that's what got me. It's like, if Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Mitch McConnell
are all getting upset.
Yeah.
Something's what the fuck?
Happening. I don't know what, but I think it's a military thing. I think that's what got him in most trouble.
Interesting.
The non-approval for new wars.
Oh, okay. King Hazy, put me in the marketing and let's get it working. Let's get to work. Sorry, I don't know what that means. Mario talks about Hunter Biden's crack teeth. That's when we were talking about that.
Yeah, we love some crack teeth.
Douglas again says, if Hunter Biden didn't have Joe as his father, Hunter would be one of those guys who you always see hanging outside of a convenience store asking for cigarettes.
Yeah.
This guy with the jokes. Yeah. Budo Chivas says, hey, Muse TV and a beer is the move. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Shout out to my buddy over here for bringing these bad boys. They're actually pretty good.
Just let me chime in and thanks the chat. You got a pretty active chat, man. That's awesome.
El Putillo says good content. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. You're awesome. Mario says Skywalker Ranch.
Oh,
I've heard about
Skinwalker,
that.
Right?
Oh, Skinwalker, yeah. See? Dyslexia.
There's some shit out there at Skinwalker Ranch, man.
Fucking Skywalker. How the fuck do I say Skywalker when it's Skinwalker?
I mean, he might be there too, man.
Oh, man.
Like, there's so much shit there.
And then King Hazy says it's probably underground shit. Do you all watch The Walking Dead? Cody Capricorn says, hello, everybody. Thank you. You're awesome. King Hazy, talk about The Walking Dead and its relationship to current events. Also, Mario talks about Los Alamos mountain aliens again.
He loves it. He loves that
Watch
shit.
the birds and the deers. That's what King Hazy says.
That's funny to me.
Mario says, Demon Man tells no lies. Phil Schindler? Schindler? Sorry.
He's trying to. Is that Mario trying to drop a name?
Paul Schinder, wait, I'd hand shot off. He seems like he's King Hazy says he seems like he's telling the truth though. Interesting. Again, there's so much shit that's going on. Thank you guys for joining. You guys are awesome. Just chatting a little bit. Again, we're just fucking going over random stuff, just having a beer. This is what MuseMe TV is about. Just fucking chilling out. Just nobody talks about the random stuff that goes out. If this, again, like you said, if this gets canceled or taken off YouTube, I mean, I would be surprised.
I'm probably to blame.
Yeah, I would be surprised though. I'd be like, holy shit, they're actually starting to pay attention to me.
I've had 2 bans so far on YouTube.
How though?
One, believe it or not, I did a live stream of the riots. Like at the Capitol.
Oh, while it was going on?
Yeah, I was
or
just showing some
talking about
news
it?
footage, and I was just like talking about it, like my thoughts on it. That got me a ban. Well, it got me a strike. I didn't get banned. And then the next one was the fucking. I won't say it exactly. Well, the name of the episode was "Needles and the Damage Done." We'll just say that's what I called my YouTube episode. That got pulled and blocked, and I just went through a history of certain shot injuries throughout time, and that got banned for medical misinformation. I quoted Jonas Salk, his very, the guy who developed polio vaccine, his very words from like a court deposition 10 years after, where he said that all the new cases were from his vaccine, and he admitted it because he knew that there was no repercussions, whatever, and that got me the strike.
Interesting.
Yeah, Jonas Salk, man.
And especially like I mean, not to be a dick or anything, like you don't have this like clout, you know, you don't have
26 subscribers.
This level of like where they would actually monetized. Be. And do you think it was more of like a algorithm where it found you, where it's just like he's talking about these things because of word patterns and stuff that they find? I think it was
something like that at that specific time. It was probably algorithm plus a human review.
Okay,
I would think, because I think they were clamping down on everybody around that time. I think they've loosened back up since then a little bit, but man, I'm very careful about talking about anything COVID on my show now. Unfortunately.
Interesting though. That's kind of shitty though, because again, these topics are stuff that we should actually be able to bring out to the public, and again, there's going to be probably a big majority that disagree, but there are a lot of people that agree. But if we're talking about the same thing we're talking about, they don't want that. They don't want people to start having this like, oh well, maybe the left is right. Let's take a little bit more ideas from the left. Oh, the right is kind of getting some more ideas.
One of my first cues was to like something was really really wrong, and they might be like trying to crack out on dissent. Was like bars. They cracked down on bars. Bars were pretty much the first thing to not be allowed open. And you know when the last time they tried to do that was that I can remember? I remember learning in my history books about the British doing that in the Revolutionary War. Taverns. They're specifically targeting taverns for like insurrectionists and people passing out flyers, because that's the one place where everybody can go meet up after they get off of work, shoot the shit, get along, not matter about their race, where they're from. And like little subtle things like that are like, I think really important in like the human psyche in terms of routines and symbolism in terms of how they live life. It's like, it's like the idea of like the man going out to work, hunt, get rest at the end of the day. Women get to hang out, gossip, for lack of a better word, socialize, strengthen the social group, raise the children. Like, it's kind of like where this idea is trying to be just absolutely just ended and destroyed and take us into like a new technocracy. Like, why else would you cut down bars? Like, why not cut it down to 25% capacity?
Right.
Why not like go soft with everything else? It's because bars is where people talk. It's where people get together. It's where they live life. It's where they hook up. It's where they meet people.
Yeah,
imagine single people right now. Single people have probably had it the fucking roughest during this pandemic.
Well, even then,
just me being one of them.
But even then, though, like, see, even you having this mentality that, like, oh, the bar scene is where it's actually at. That's where it's actually good to find a relationship.
It's not.
It's changed now.
It's not. It's better than social media apps.
Well, no, see, that's the thing, though.
That's
it's like
sure.
Everybody thinks that that's the way to go now.
But you know what that's good for is the idea of this like fourth wave feminism and destroying family units and empowering women. Like, you know, they want this swipe culture. Swipe culture is just in further destruction of family units and social groups.
Don't you feel that the obligation of the swipe culture kind of just justifies yes or no?
What do you mean?
So, like, okay, so if you do have to pick between your spouse or lover, and it doesn't have to be given by the determination of, like, their aesthetics, their personal will, their determination to be a good person, it's just literally on their looks,
That's bad.
Is it?
I think so.
Explain.
So, this is like an interesting concept that's been brought up on other podcasts. It's not my original idea, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately. But it's like, there's studies on this. Like, what are they actually seeing with apps like Tinder, Bumble, OkCupid? It's like, what you are seeing is like where, like in the old days, right? Like women and men would date within their social groups. Like you would sleep with somebody in college, somebody you hung out with, somebody you work with, like somebody really close to you in age and social status. You both didn't have your shit together because of trying to feel your way through the world. Well, what does Tinder do? What does Bumble do? Now all those 10s that were 20 years old that you kind of had a shot with because you were their friend and you hung out with them. Now they're competing with like 35 and 40-year-old men with Mercedes and houses and pools, and you know you're putting 20-year-old college dudes in the same with nothing, you know, with the same group as like men who are established in their life, and that's a natural biological driver, man's success in life, yada yada yada. I think that's where you see the degradation of the family culture a little bit, because those dudes with the money, the Lambo, if they're swiping on all these 20 to 25-year-olds, they're probably not making any of them their wife anytime soon. They're probably not having kids with them.
Or if they are, it's in a sense where they like aren't really staying with the family, and it's abandonment issues, kind of bringing up a broken home.
And at the same time, like women are getting the justification on their looks, which is really important to like young women, and it's just a bad juju, I guess, for biology and human nature. I think it's kind of, I think there's something to that, because what you see is like 80% of women swiping on like 20% of men, and then all the other 80% of men are left out and taking those scraps from the 20% left of women. Those are how the stats are looking right now.
Okay.
Like 80% of men are competing for the bottom 20% of women, and then it's flipped on the other end.
Where like there's like 80% of women just going for the 20% of men.
And they just keep going to those same dudes because they're cleaning up right now.
Interesting. Yeah,
and not acknowledging the, you know, family dynamic.
Yeah, the way that like structures of being through hardships of growing up, or like understanding more of the dynamic,
or just having children, because society's telling you not to have kids.
But even then though, it's weird if you're 10 years older than your significant other having kids, because your already moral values have been already a big generational gap. Like you growing up 10 years different than your other.
I think that's becoming more true. Okay. I think most women, honestly, if they're 25 and they actually want a family, they meet a 35-year-old man, I think that's probably exactly what they're looking for. They're probably not looking to have kids with somebody exactly their age, their same status.
But they
just natural biological competition is going to want them to have an older, more established man.
Yeah, you can see it. I mean, it's very rare and unlikely, but they would choose the more suitable male if they were younger.
If they were going for children, but if they're going for other things, then it throws a lot of shit, you know.
But even then, though, like you said, it doesn't have to be the aspect of going for kids. But if you're on Tinder and you see a dude compared to another dude where it's just like, oh, this dude looks like I just took a selfie, it's me. But then you see the other dude that took a selfie right in front of his Lambo with a fucking nice car. That dynamic changed right away. You know what's another fun
study is that they like, you hear, right, that like 80% of women polled like say like they'll never swipe right on a dude with their shirt off, when in reality those women
mostly do
swipe right. Yeah.
See, and that's the whole shitty part about like the way polls.
It's like fake. Well, it's beyond polls. I think it's like the idea of like the fake fight against the patriarchy, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody's against the patriarchy until a woman wants like a tall, strong, handsome man to take her. Like, you know what I mean? And then they forget about all that shit.
But even in that sense now, they're just kind of leaning towards like, I don't think I need a man because of the way society's turning out.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of crazy to think
And
about.
I think
too.
you're starting to see women in their 40s become more depressed and single.
Yeah, dude. I hate to bring this up, but I mean, there's this girl that I really, really, really like, and I know we'll probably never get together because she just has that mentality that like, oh, I've already tried relationships already in my 30s.
yeah.
It's never gonna work. I'm just like, you just don't understand
No,
falling and like getting back up, and you never know because that's life.
You never know, but people like they're not open until they're open. You can't make people be receptive.
Obviously not unless you're fucking Jeffrey Epstein, but
or you're just fucking an NBA star.
well, even then though, even to a certain point, you've seen it where like celebrities have this clout with women, and then all of a sudden it just the narrative turns because they end up becoming part of the whole Me Too movement or something where they can actually
shout out to Brian Collin.
Shout out to Marilyn Manson. There's so
Do you have
many...
a buzzer? The pew pew pew.
Right, I wish it was just a whistle.
That works.
But dude, that's crazy how that's happening now too.
What about Deshaun Watson? Can we talk about that?
I don't know about it. Tell me more. I'm gonna look it up now. But
oh, dude, he has like 25 women accusing him of
Sean Watson,
rapey hand jobs or forcing. I don't know. He forced them to touch him or something.
Watson, right?
Yeah, he's like starting quarterback for the Houston Texans. He's a superstar.
Football coach. I see him.
Football player.
It says football coach.
Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun. Okay, I just put Sean Watson.
Oh, okay, yeah. You got to put Deshaun.
See, that's
You're
even
gonna
worse.
get a whole new race of person.
There you go. Heck yeah, it really is.
Yeah, dude, he has like 20-something sexual assault cases, and he just came off the biggest season of his career.
Okay, so this is the crazy thing about it, though, is like, do these women actually start to come out now, or do they forget about it? Because, okay, look at the rock star culture. Do you really think all those women that Gene Simmons got with are going to come out?
Oh,
they should.
no.
Okay, why not? Look at how much other women are coming out with.
Because they probably consented to it.
How? In the 70s and 80s, there is no way these guys were smart enough to make sure that these women consented where they can't come back and be like, hey, Gene Simmons was a fucking
dude,
pig.
this is what I'm saying. Women just went with it. Like,
no, but okay.
If you're assertive enough back then, like, they probably didn't really think about it as rape.
Okay, I guess I get what you're saying. Because
I know that's a little rough.
No. I get what you're saying. This guy wasn't born until 95.
Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, the date of birth.
Yeah.
So he's still like a younger generation where like, you know, if this happened in 2010, it's still more taboo than if it happened in 1980.
Yeah, he's a young dude. But the thing is, like, a lot of them are massage therapists. I'm like, who's to say that he just didn't get a bunch of handies from these ladies and now they're trying to shit on his name? Happy endings? No? Is that still a thing?
That's a big thing still.
Okay, I don't ever gotten a massage like that.
Well, you see it everywhere.
And they've been trying, there's rumors that like they're trying to get rid of them before all this happened. And then all these cases happened.
You can't get rid of those massage parlors, dude.
No, they're trying to get rid of Deshaun Watson with the Texans.
Oh, okay. So
No, you can't get rid of those massage parlors.
there's no way to get rid of that.
No, we've seen that.
But okay, so he got accused of this stuff and they're just like, we need to get him out of here.
Well, it's still, I mean...
He still plays for the team, right?
Yeah, they haven't... There's talks that he's in trade talks, but his career is over if these cases are true. If they're not true, then this is a weird fucking way to fuck with him.
But then again,
I wonder if the team did it.
But again, we get to this point where they're like, okay, these women maybe are consenting because they had fun that night and everything was cool, but now they're...
Well, they're more saying that, like, he whipped out his wang and told them to touch it kind of stuff.
But how did they get to where... Did he do it right in the middle of the field?
He was getting massaged in, like, sports therapy.
Oh, that's so crazy.
It gets really weird, right?
Yeah, because you would think, okay, this is the fucked up part about it, but even at a really high-level skilled coach, they're just like, hey, let's hire some massage therapists to help out our players.
Well, that's what they did, yeah.
But let's hire massage therapists that will also help our players relax in a sexual kind of way as well.
You think so?
Why not? I mean, they're trying.
This is a hot take.
They are literally
This is
trying
great.
to. They're trying to think of every idea of how to make their player better.
So you're saying this is a good thing that they were trying to do?
I wouldn't doubt that a coach would try to think of these ideas. Okay, how do you not feel like a better person after you just ejaculated and been like, woo, I feel good.
I'm trying to tell you this is probably what happened, and now they're probably trying to.
But more in the sense, yeah, like the teammates and the like higher ups are just like, this is what we do. There's probably multiple teams that do this that can get away with it.
Dude, the Cowboys, man, in the '90s were just fucking going ham. I love the Cowboys.
I could just imagine them fucking
Michael Irvin, having strippers. The only one that wasn't doing shit was probably like Emmett. Maybe.
See, I don't know. That's a lot more of that. What I know about that shit too.
They all did a bunch of blow.
But here, think of the same thing with the basketball thing with the Chicago Bulls. You know how they were like the so badass winning team. Dennis Rodman was the worst fucking partier out there, dude.
Dude, he was good though.
Oh, dude.
Michael Jordan probably got his dad murdered. So let's get into that.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Remember his little 2-year hiatus from the NBA that he had? When
Michael Jordan
retired and went to MLB?
Okay.
The conspiracy theory about that is David Stern went to him at the end of that last season. He was like, I know about your fucking gambling scandal. I know these dudes put a hit on your dad and they fucking murdered him. Like, you better fucking disappear for 2 years while this lays low. And that's the theory, is that his dad was killed due to his gambling debts.
And see, that's crazy too, because he was a really bad gambling.
He's a degenerate.
Bad. Yeah. Like, dude, he would millions.
He would gamble at Castles and Coasters in Phoenix against Charles Barkley on go-kart tracks and putt-putt golf.
Dude, how fucking baller is that, dude?
It is baller.
That is so crazy. Dude, I bet you he was just like, all right, guys, coin flip right now. Yeah. Let's see who's getting this 10 G's. To think that he had that mentality doesn't
wanted to win, man. That dopamine rush.
And it doesn't surprise me that it gets to a point where it just gets darker and darker and darker, where you're just like, holy shit, I fucking owe these guys an island. I can't give them an island,
dude.
And then
look how quiet he's been, relatively speaking.
Well, did you see the documentary?
No, I didn't have too much of it. There's too many documentaries to make about that, but.
There's a lot of documentary. Unfortunately, documentary culture really hit in fucking 2018, and it just fucking blew up.
Kind of got out of hand with like Serial and like a lot of those other murder shows.
There's so much.
That was a podcast, but they.
Yeah, you see it now with Netflix. They adopted almost
Making a Murderer.
Oh, dude, The Night Stalker has his own movie now. That's a mockumentary.
That guy's like the least interesting fucking serial killer. Too.
It was trending for at least 2 weeks, so they're doing something right. I mean,
crazy.
Dude, that's how bad this culture is turning into.
Netflix.
I love how South Park describe it is like they're just trying to feed people murder porn.
Yeah, it's
some kind of intake.
Desensitization.
Yeah,
I guess I could say that.
Yeah, I can totally understand that.
But
whatever they can to make you feel like, oh shit, it's bad out there, and it's scary. And then when it does happen, you're just like, oh no, it really is. But then you neglect the fact that, like, holy shit, there's actually a guy that's giving people fucking, money, or there's just fucking good cops out there that are actually trying to help the youth and trying to actually help the community that they're in.
I quit watching Netflix, man. I definitely canceled them last year.
Well, come on, you gotta still Big Mouth, you gotta still watch Better Call Saul, Ozark.
Cuties, maybe cancel it, bro.
Fuck Cuties. Obviously, who fucking cares about Cuties? But still, how can you not love Ozark? Like, that was an amazing show.
I didn't even finish Ozark. It got weird in one season. There's
only 2 seasons.
There's some weird sex shit that happened in one episode. I was like, I'm gonna stop on this one.
That fucking show is amazing. It's not Breaking Bad tier, but it's up there.
Nice.
Because I love Breaking Bad.
I've been watching. What have I been watching right now? 24 Hours to Hell and Back.
What is that? Is that on Netflix?
Gordon Ramsay shit?
No!
No? Oh, all right.
Okay, what does he do on that show? I've never heard of it.
Just flips restaurants in one day.
Oh, in one day?
Yeah.
The other one that I used to watch of his was Kitchen Nightmares.
That one's pretty good.
I used to watch that a lot, but not 24 Hours in Hell or whatever.
It's really ridiculous. I feel bad watching it. It's like the only real show I watch. Shark Tank is still good.
You watch Shark Tank?
Yeah.
I never really understood what Shark Tank was. I always thought it was like some stupid like 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 Wipeout or something.
Hilarious.
I thought it was something stupid, but then I ended up seeing it, and it's like, oh shit, it's just a show about investors.
Yeah, and those guys are kind of like being a little bit more mainstream right now,
They're
like crypto and stuff.
They are very influential. Mark Cuban, he
Yeah.
says anything in the fucking community about any stock or any Bitcoin or
Shit
any
goes.
fucking crypto. Yeah, it starts booming.
Yeah, he's an important dude. He was a tech guy from the beginning. That's how he bought the Mavericks. He sold some domain names in like '98 before the .com bubble. And
Interesting.
Then so many of those dudes, man, got in. That's why like this crypto shit is so exciting because like it might be a bubble, but you could ride that bubble. People are smart right now,
and who knows the of what it can turn into.
Yeah, this is just like the floor limit. Like Bitcoin at 60,000 is just a fucking joke. Like,
Yeah.
what it's going to go to is going to be insane.
Yeah, you start comparing like different like currencies and like different like the United States dollar compared to the yen and stuff like that, and you start putting it with like the United States dollar and the cryptocurrency. Like that's movement. That's something that we should
think about.
keep an eye
Ethereum,
on
man.
that.
Ethereum. I don't know if people realize, but Ethereum just surpassed the market cap of platinum, which means that all the Ethereum being traded and bought and sold right now is worth more than the platinum in the world.
Interesting.
Being sold and traded and bought right now, or mined format for that matter. That's what market cap means. It takes into all that.
Yeah.
Ethereum just passed that. Bitcoin is worth more than Apple. Like, I know it's like one currency versus like one giant company, but
the net worth makes
this
sense.
shit is going to go insane.
Because if you think about it, just the aspect of people having just one coin is like people
Stupid.
people are rich. Like they literally are rich. Yeah, there was this video of this guy. Did you remember the first time the guy bought pizza with Bitcoin?
Oh, dude, I heard about that. Yeah,
He has his own dedicated day called Pizza Day.
really?
Yeah, there's a day that's actually dedicated to the day that this guy bought a pizza with cryptocurrency.
That's incredible.
But
That's awesome.
he spent like, oh my god, like 37 coins. Like, are you kidding me right now? That's a millionaire.
Do you think Domino's cashed him out? Or do you think they kept him as crypto?
Oh, dude.
They cashed him out.
That's how stupid they are.
God
they had
damn
to.
it.
They had to.
God
Nobody
damn it.
thought it was going to
Nobody
be what
did.
it is. And
Look at Doge. Doge became the second largest thing in my portfolio on accident. I bought some as a joke. And now it's like,
I love how everyone says that too, but all crypto technically starts off as a joke.
yeah.
Like how-
Except for Bit and Ethereum, because those are real companies.
They're all okay. So, what does it mean then when a new token comes out, but yet it's still Ethereum based?
So Ethereum is the network on which these tokens and NFTs are going to be based, and it's the main one. So when you see a lot of tokens on there, I venture to say most of them are probably built on Ethereum.
Yeah.
That's why every time Ethereum hits an upgrade or they scale higher, like people should be thinking more about Ethereum as like the future internet rather than a cryptocurrency, because it's like a software platform that's just going to be so multifaceted and so scalable that it's going to revolutionize computing. It could revolutionize day-to-day life 10, 20 years from now. Like, that's what Ethereum is. It's software. Like, people just got to quit thinking about like all these cryptos as like currencies and start thinking of them as like you're buying stakes in software companies that could revolutionize the world if they take off.
Okay.
That's what I think. Like Hedera Hashgraph, this beanie, shout out to Hedera Hashgraph. They're endorsed by like Boeing, GE. Like they're making tokens and cryptocurrency chains for these companies. They're making these own private blockchains for these companies to utilize.
But yet, is it still based off of an Ethereum model?
Yes. HBAR, I think Ethereum might be a Binance smart chain. I'm not sure. I think they're probably
it was a blockchain,
Ethereum.
right?
So, most of them are probably blockchains. Blockchain is like a very loose definition. It's just a catch-all term now.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
It's so complex now, dude.
technically it's hash graph, right? Like it's not a blockchain. This is a hash graph, which differs from a blockchain in its capacity to do more transactions per second.
Okay.
So hash graph is like a simpler ledger format that they're allowing companies to privatize and make their own within their own company if they want to, and make it interoperable with other people's companies if they choose to do a crypto blockchain for their product inventory.
Where they could
or whatever.
literally just drop that logo with an amount, and that's the transaction.
I think HBAR is more like thinking about keeping track of all the information in the company, period.
Okay.
Like within the information framework, and having part of it as like a currency token, like stake, like a stock. And yeah, that's the best I could describe it. And I don't even understand it yet.
That's so crazy to think about too, because every time that a new token gets merged or something, when I see
Yeah.
it, and I'm just like, holy fuck, it's still based off an Ethereum model, but yet it still talks about like
Ethereum's the future. Yeah.
decentralized of something else or whatever.
And another term you hear a lot is DeFi, which is decentralized finance. That's the idea of using these tokens to collapse the banking industry.
Okay.
Like every time you see DeFi, you're talking about like collateral staking, you're talking about like exchanges, you're talking about like alternative frameworks to stock market models and economic models, like in a real way.
So do you think then that we are actually kind of like in a cryptocurrency war with other countries to kind of not only mine it, but yet kind of influence the market of what it's going to do for our depending on country? Like,
I think we're way behind.
No, don't say that.
Dude, from what I've seen is like Iceland like 3 years ago.
I don't want to hear that, dude.
Dude, Iceland just dedicated like tens of thousands of square footage for like 10,000 supercomputers that they're all using to mine Bitcoin. And it's like for the government and for their people.
And that's it though? Like,
yeah, they're mining Bitcoin.
Okay, here's the thing. You don't think Facebook or Amazon or any of these tech companies kind of have already a stake in that where they have these giant infrastructures?
This is the big debate I have with Mario all the time. If Mario's still out there listening, he should chime in on some of this stuff because this is what I ask him a lot.
Because that freaks me out when I hear the database in Facebook, just nothing but servers in Los Lunas. But yet I feel like it does more than just harnessing the data of.
It's probably using the power of
your
data to mine Bitcoin.
Dude, I wouldn't doubt it. Or
like,
any
literally.
More Ethereum coin, whatever kind of cryptocurrency that is at stake here. Do you think though that the cryptocurrency is going to be in a state where, depending on what is mined more and who has more of it, that's going to be what the popularity of it is? Kind of like the way currency in America and Japan and they have their own currency, but yet when you all put it together, it all goes off of one base level of what it should be.
Right. So this is where we start getting to like the absolute collapse of the dollar, the petrodollar, the euro, the real global system. Like, I think this is like where we're heading to. This is the only reason why I'm investing in crypto is because I think that we're in for a rough time the next year and a half, 2 years. Dollar's going to crash. International monetary value is just going to... prices are skyrocketing on everything. They said if you had $10 of lumber in November, it's worth $60 now. That's how much lumber has increased just in like 5 to 6 months. Like, you're about to see your dollar become worthless, and people who aren't living in a place where they have a decent rent situation right now are going to be really fucked, I think.
Do you think that our government would help our country in a way to make sure that we don't have to end up as a kind of like a totalitarian state?
We're trying to go there.
We're trying to get there.
Our government is trying to get us there.
I don't...
That's the Federal Reserve, baby. That shit is not going away anytime soon. And they hate everything about crypto.
Okay, so I understand the aspect of the Federal Reserve kind of like building the monetary system in a way where it kind of enslaved us.
Right.
But yet, was it built in a way to make sure that not only did it enslave us, but it still gave us opportunities to make sure that other countries don't enslave us?
It's a very ironic question because the Federal Reserve was like straight up.
You think it was built with...
It was built to bring us into the New World Order.
See,
it's very much an element of like the international global banking system, subverting U.S. markets in the 20s and 30s.
And see, this is the thing though, where I kind of have a pushback on it, is that I think that the Federal Reserve was created in a way to kind of monetize and control its society and people, but in a sense where it's only controlling half because it's still in competition with another kind of Federal Reserve or another kind of really high marketing institution that's really literally just too big fucking, hey, who's going to be the next? I don't want to put it in the superpower kind of sense because I don't want to place America just as a superpower because it has so many influences from other countries that make it the dominant team.
Yeah.
What's not to say that this team is another sense of Federal Reserve that just has a different aspect of it. I think this is
more of like interoperability. Like, people really they should check out the founders of our major banks in this country. They should look at Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Barclays in England and Europe. They should look up the history of all these banking families and look at who's owned them and been in charge of them throughout the history. This is like straight up an ancient bloodline banking family shit.
Even the way that they were even resurrected, what was it, like 1912, when they actually signed the actual Federal Reserve into law, where it was done on a day where like Christmas Eve, not a lot of politicians were in the building at that moment. Like they knew exactly how to push this agenda at that certain time.
Dude, they've also authorized the seizing of all Americans' gold twice in the 20th century.
I remember that too. Like there was a thing where the Gold Act or something where they literally were trying to help America's economy by giving you more credible money in the sense of we're replacing the gold with what it should.
I think this is where you start getting into like Hamiltonian versus Jeffersonian like economics and banking policies, because this is like a really big debate when our country was founded. It's the idea of like, I can't, forgive me for not knowing exactly who's on what side. I think Hamilton was arguing in favor of creating national debt so that the states or the colonies would feel like an obligation to empower a federal state or a federal government. So it was like created almost on purpose and assigned to these states. If they wanted to enter the union, they would have to take on some of this burden in the treasury and all that. And I think the Federal Reserve is just 150 years later, 200 years later, a final fruition of banking industry that was set forth back then.
But yet there was still an aspect or an idea where like, hey, we should try to stray away from this. We should not try to be this kind of system.
Our country was so weak for a long time that there was like state banks. Like there's Bernalillo dollars and like there's dollars like printed in individual municipalities, and like a banker would cut them with their own paper cutter out there in the middle of nowhere, but it'd be printed by like, Amarillo, Texas, but it's like a United States dollar note, like things like that. A lot of that's changed for sure.
Interesting.
In terms of like our change isn't even made in silver anymore, when it used to be made in silver as recently as 30 years ago. You still find awesome, expensive silver quarters and $50 in circulation. Just pay attention to it. It could be a troy ounce of silver. You don't even know.
But most of the time, it's all just replaced with a nickel.
Yeah, they have a weighting machine. When your change is all processed, it just gets weighted out. Once it gets back to like a major bank, a major mint, sorts out the silver, or that's how they do it.
That's crazy too, because like they had this sense of like, hey, these are material goods that actually represent some kind of wealth. But now that like the wealth is being changed in a certain way, or the materials are actually can be used for better and more innovative things, like I love that gold is like one of the best electric conductors out there in the world.
Yeah,
like amazing. Almost every piece of technology has some portion of gold in it.
And I just always I want people to be careful with the metals thing too, because those markets are so heavily manipulated. They have so much more out there that they're not telling you. That's why that shit's so expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there was that thing that Elon Musk was talking about too. Like one of the big things why people thought that Tesla was going to fail was because that the way to make the batteries was really used by a lot of lithium.
Yeah.
So there was no real way. They're like, where are you going to mine it? Where are you going to mine it? And Elon Musk, this is the beauty of him, where he's like, dude, it's everywhere. Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? Why are you saying that we can't find this fucking lithium?
When you're just looking in the same spot.
And you're not actually venturing. Again, you're probably giving this false information where people are kind of scared now, where they're like, oh no, we shouldn't trust electrical vehicles. Yeah. Or there's no way. Why do we want to get rid of all the lithium? We need lithium for other things. Dude. In a sense where it kind of like makes the country or the people kind of like stray away from that. Where I feel like electronic technology and shit like that will probably enhance and make us into more of a utopian state where like, dude, how awesome would it be if you literally have a lot of things done for you where you don't have to worry about it, where the job that you do or the job that I do, where I know that a computer or robot does it, so I can actually work on my skill of being a guitar player, of being a musician, of trying to broadcast a podcast.
That's all cool until YouTube stops monetizing your art and people aren't making enough to buy your art because you're making a minimum wage and you can't make more at your job because any harder work your computer just does for you.
But that's only because it turns into more of a capitalistic state. Because like once YouTube knew how much money they're making and why they make it, they're like, okay, let's actually put a cap on it, market cap on this shit. And let's literally, you can only make money and do it a certain way. and then it's gonna happen.
I think they're trying to become cable TV.
But
they're trying to become cable TV.
It happens, and it always happens. There's always going to be another platform or another kind of app or another thing that's going to overtake it, and people are just going to be like, "Fuck yeah, this is why."
YouTube is a fucking interesting beast, man.
Because how many people want to try so hard? Like, there's so many people out there that want to be YouTube stars. But
dude,
it's hard.
I noticed after the Capitol riots, like I would. Not all the time, but like once in a while, I would get views in like the 100 or 200 views or whatever. After that,
I did see one of your videos. I saw one of your videos that was in like the
250, 30 or 30 something views.
Yeah, and then all the rest of them are in like the double digits.
And everybody went hard at Project Veritas, right?
It's so crazy, dude. And
I used to get a lot more on those Veritas vids. People loved it
and
for a second.
It makes me think too, is like just depending on what the content is out there, like they'll feed for it until people are like, oh shit, that's actually bad information.
I tried to do like an Illuminati watch series, right? I did one on Steve Bannon, 118 views in like a weekend. Pretty good for me. Fucking Biden, I got like 7-8 views for some reason. I'm like, are you telling me more people are searching Steve Bannon than Joe Biden?
That's interesting too.
My God, I made him like the same week.
And then too, you don't want to be that person that makes I guess false information content either, because you can totally bash on Biden and tell so many lies and so many things on the internet. But then
I'm gonna say some of mine leaned on the iffy, you know.
But still, it's more out there. It's more credible and actual. Like, I wonder if he's right or not. Instead of like, holy shit, this guy's presenting me with all this information.
I always try to put shit on there to back it up. That gets some noticeable traction. I don't just try to put up some shit.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people out there that do that, where they just kind of like put this information and then idiots just follow them, and then it ends up becoming this whole mainstream thing. Like, I hate it, but it probably will happen. Give it some time. Let Jake Paul talk about something political or something scientific.
He's not going to be able to stop himself.
And then it's just going to end up really bad for that community, because it's going to have all of these outliers and all of these followers that are just going to destroy the narrative of probably what is true.
I'm just going to say Ben Askren getting knocked out didn't do nothing for Bitcoin.
It didn't help anything with the UFC at all.
Askren.
They're like, oh yeah, more numbers.
I heard they're saying that he trained once with Freddie Roach, the legend boxing trainer. Then he just fucking dissed him like an asshole.
Ben?
Yeah.
I could see that. Ben seems like that asshole.
Like an arrogant prick.
Oh, man.
Sometimes.
Again, I think he, unfortunately, he's just like Jake Paul, though. He knew how much money he was going to make from this fight.
After getting shit on in his MMA career for so long, too. He never got paid, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny.
That's some fucking treaded waters right there, too, man.
Oh, how about the new big fight they just announced? You didn't hear about it?
I didn't. Is it Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather?
Well, that's a pretty big one. This one's even bigger, man. Lamar Odom versus Aaron Carter. Nick Carter's little cracked out brother. And Lamar Odom, the guy who died of a drug overdose, was brought back to life. Former NBA star.
Why would they?
Kardashian.
Why would they box?
I don't know. To make $50K instead of $1 million like the other people. Yeah, Celebrity Boxing Club. Ariel Helwani dropped it.
I see it. What the fuck, dude? Why is this a thing?
Look how bad Aaron Paul's going to die in this fight. Like,
Aaron Carter.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, Aaron Paul.
That's how bad this is, dude. That's how bad these mixes of shit.
Put Aaron Paul in there.
They'll both be good enough to fight.
Like, fuck it. Oh, shit.
Oh, man,
I like the clouds. Right there.
Oh,
that's
man.
a good little.
That, like, he almost died, but he's back for redemption.
Oh, I thought those were like clouds of cocaine.
No, I thought that's him going to heaven and coming back, dude.
Oh, I see. God damn it. The world's going to shit.
Well, I mean, that's something to look forward to, I guess, too, because I like. I'm a big pop culture guy, and I love drama.
I love stupid beefs.
It's fun. Like, it makes everything go crazy. Like the whole Joe Rogan thing, I'm so into it. Like, I'm just like, fuck, you fucked up, but it's great to watch.
Which one? The vaccine comment?
Yeah,
shit?
like that whole thing.
He didn't even fuck up. He just was talking.
But see, that's the thing too, is people take those little aspects of how he talks very disrespectful or in a way that they can't handle. There's this guy on my Facebook that I don't really like him that much, but I mean, whatever. He has a very hot girlfriend. I love that shit.
There you go.
But he's one of those guys where literally it's just like, the vaccine even though New Mexico is going in the green, I still don't trust New Mexico going in the green. So I'm going to stay
Racist.
vaccinated, or I'm going to stay quarantining.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, wait, so you don't really
Trust the vaccine.
or trust what's going on in our political circle where we're actually making these decisions, because he doesn't think that the numbers are correct, or he thinks that like New Mexico is just trying to jump on the bandwagon like you have all these other like
what
states.
bandwagon? We're like the last state to open.
Yeah,
pretty
but
much.
still, that's the reason though, is like we're the last state to open, but yet I think we still have like one of the highest vaccine rates in our
Yeah,
state.
we have the highest rate in the country, I think.
But yet there's still like that talk is like, why isn't New Mexico one of the places open? And does it bring more of a conspiracy of like maybe it's like the demographic of the location of where we're at, where we don't
Dude, it's
want
our
all this shit to go?
Dude, do you know the net worth of Michelle Lujan Grisham?
I don't want to know.
It's like 200 and 300 million. Like, her family comes from elites. Grisham is a big landed elite political family, and the Lujan is a massive political family here in California. Like,
They're just influencers.
influencers. I think California and New Mexico kind of are on the same page with a lot of inner politics.
Well,
I want to flesh this out a little bit. look into
Albuquerque
it more.
probably like
Yeah,
just like
I'm
the
talking about like our government, like our capital,
the government.
like
Because you see a bunch of these small, like Los Lunas, fucking where I'm from, like Taos, New Mexico, fucking Santa Fe and stuff like. Well,
Dude,
not Santa Fe.
You know
as
Deborah
much.
Holland, the congresswoman here, the native lady.
Yeah.
So I used to work with her daughter at a satellite coffee in town. They've only been in New Mexico like 3 or 4 years, dude, before she fucking ran for office. She's from California. Like, I don't know where the fuck she came out from, but now she's like the champion of like indigenous rights. She's the champion of Native Americans, and she's not even fucking from here at all.
That's kind of shitty.
Yeah, at all. And now she's like Secretary of the Interior in Washington, D.C. It just makes you question a lot of things. We get a lot of outside politicians that move here for a couple of years and then just get elected to like a big spot.
And what is this lady like? She looks like a white lady. Like, does she have a cultural diversity that makes her more suitable?
Oh no, sorry, you got the wrong one.
Like this is her. Damn white lady.
Haaland. It's like it's funny because it's German. Sounds very German, but she's native. She definitely looks more native, but she don't look full. She looks Mexican to me.
But that's still something that's kind of like, what the fuck? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, how do you just fucking bounce over here to? I don't know. Like I said, New Mexico seems to be like a playground for the elite. It seems to be like a backyard of the federal government and the elite. Because we're a state of like 2 million people, but all these fucking weirdos keep coming in.
And they have so
fucking
much
things up.
They have so much, like now the way that tech companies have come in here and just like started to like implant their footprint. Do you think that's more of like the government letting it happen, or it's just like
It's just like Intel.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it's just like what they tried to do that Starport, whatever that kind of failed out there. SpaceX.
I don't know if you know this. Have you ever heard of Virgin Galactic Mobile?
Yeah.
They're based out of here.
Yeah, that too.
That's
what about
one of-
Netflix?
Dude.
Studios.
Oh my god.
Susan Rice, who's now ambassador to the UN, was like on the executive board and Netflix getting paid like $20 million a year right after she left the Obama administration. Then she just hops back into government.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, dude. It's very weird. There's like a war. There's a propaganda war going on for sure.
And don't even get me started on like how much like so many like high official not high officials, but even just people that have money have so many like houses that are just like, you know, like
chilling out here.
yeah, they're
Epstein
go away
Ranch.
from home, dude.
Anybody?
and he-
Bezos's ranch.
Dude, oh my god, it's crazy.
Does a Turner's Ranch extend into New Mexico?
Turner's somewhere in
Yeah.
here too. And to think that like it's kind of on Indian reservation as well.
Yep.
Like what the fuck?
What about Biden's island?
Biden has an island?
He has an island 20 miles from Epstein's island.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he has a submarine base there. Like Epstein's island had a submarine base there.
Interesting.
And Ghislaine Maxwell funded and ran an ocean nonprofit called Terra Mar, where they did deep sea discovery.
What the fuck? Dude, that's so... I hate life right now, too.
Yeah, it's all a mindfuck.
It is, because because I hate when you brought that up, too, is like the way these islands are being... The islands and stuff, China was doing their stupid thing in the South China Sea, where they actually think they have more rights over the South China Sea.
Oh yeah,
Because
Taiwan.
yeah, or any of the other ones, the
Anybody else?
Philippines,
Yeah.
Japan, all these people. So what they're doing is like there's an article line of out of the coastal shore of how much miles you can have outside of the ocean coast. So it's literally 15 miles. So China's borders extend 15 miles, and that's their stopping point. And then
Right.
the rest is turned into international waters. What they are doing is they're actually dumping sand in the ocean
To
and
make islands.
they're making homemade islands, dude.
Holy shit.
So they've been doing this for like 2 years now,
Yeah,
right?
I heard this has been done before, like artificially at other places to build houses and stuff.
So they're
but-
doing it. They actually built and they're putting military bases on it and
Wow.
stuff. But recently, these islands have actually been sinking. Is because they weren't actually putting the right amount of foundation onto them. So they're literally they're struggling now to make sure that these islands are actually kept well.
my God.
And not only that, they have to keep the pressure in the South China Sea because they're trying to dominate it. And that's another shitty part too, because that's a really big trading route, and that's where most of our fishing comes from.
Dude, if Taiwan and China ever ignite in some kind of little war, man, world prices are going to skyrocket because people don't understand how much Taiwan actually manufactures and how much they produce.
I think if that were to happen, though, that's where we kind of push our political pool again, and we're just like, hey, what the fuck?
Do we have any with them right now? Because they're just fucking bought the White House.
I honestly think our biggest political pool that we have is our pretty much pop culture and social media.
Too bad it's all going their way.
But that's exactly the thing, though, is that they have to be like us is the only way they can beat us. So
Yeah.
they literally have to copy everything. So
They do, and they do.
They look at how
Yeah.
look at the problem that they had with Blizzard and the gaming industry, where the Hong Kong champion of Hearthstone literally wanted to use his time just to talk about the atrocities that were happening.
yeah. He got
And
banned
yeah,
or what?
literally from the servers, his profile, all this bullshit.
The NBA bullshit. That's
But
fun.
but
Yeah.
the only reason why they were scared is because they know that most of the money comes from China.
Yeah.
But they're American-based companies. They are all American-based ideas. So if we just have this mentality that we don't have to fucking care about the money anymore,
But
we take that stronghold back.
You know where that like falls is that they got fucking people in as CEOs. They got people making decisions at these companies that are Chinese infiltrators.
Well, they're
shareholders.
They're kind of like influencing in a way.
Some of them are straight up probably big name people in the company, right? Like,
Yeah.
these guys are probably big deals, and I don't know. It's a mess. Chinese intellectual property. That's one thing that Trump, I think, got 100% right, was the idea of like intellectual property theft from China and all their copycat bullshit they were doing.
Yeah, you see it on a lot of things that they do. Like we invent something that's amazing, and then they
Yeah.
try to bastardize it no matter
Every
what.
time.
Dude, you've seen
Yeah.
it so many times. How many gaming consoles have come from China that are just like get all 150 games from every system out there
Yeah.
and stuff, but yet that's just a bastardized version of America.
Yeah.
And that's I think that is the power that we have over them, is that we can literally influence the world and they can't. They can influence the world. Not
Yeah.
yet anyways.
They've influenced us, which is influencing the world.
They're trying to.
Yeah,
They really
they got Disney already.
but in a sense of how okay, this is the thing that I love too, is like if they do have Disney,
Yeah.
is it in a sense where everybody in the Disney like cabinet and the people that are talking about all the political pools are all Chinese?
No, dude. I think what we miss is like I think we kind of forget about how big companies are, right? Okay, there's ESPN, right? What we know in this country is ESPN America. There's an ESPN Asia, there's an ESPN Africa, there's
Yeah.
an ESPN Europe, and they all have completely different content from what we would have.
Yeah.
So it's about who's on those boards, and man, I think Hollywood. I think this is where we get back to the Red Scare a little bit, right? Like a lot of those people that McCarthy was targeting back then were like Hollywood actors, screenwriters, producers, because they were producing American propaganda or American films. And I think this is where they realize like Netflix is probably a big arm where there's some heavy Chinese influence. They're influencing Hollywood. They're getting in there. They realize Andrew Breitbart, the conservative political founder of Breitbart.com, he said his famous quote was, "Politics is always downstream of culture," which means that culture is just always influencing politics. Like it's like politics at the end of the day is just
Trying
always
to-
going to be progressive in a sense because it's just always going to be influenced by culture.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And see, but that's what blows me away too. Is like even though there is so much of these influences from politics and shit like that, or our culture, most of it has come from us. And that's what I feel.
We
Again,
need more independent creators, and we gotta quit this like 1,000 subscriber bullshit to get a partner.
I still,
like, we gotta,
I still
we
feel
gotta get
though
different-
that I still feel that aspect of us being able to do stuff like that is why we're more innovative than China. Because
Yeah.
okay, they literally will try to compete
Yeah.
to make a supercomputer. They probably have people in a warehouse slaving to make a supercomputer.
there's no passion there.
But in America, they give the people an opportunity to make it. And maybe the government will take it and use it for their kind of benefit, but they're still giving the aspect of like, hey guys, here's a bunch of computer parts, here's a bunch of whatever, go invent shit yourself. And then once you invent it, then unfortunately we get the political aspects of the government where they're like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen in China. That's what I feel is more beautiful about us, and where we have an advantage is that they will never be able to let their people be as innovative as us.
We just gotta ask ourselves if we're okay with us going that direction right now. Because I think if we keep advocating for this being comfortable at work and having, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's
losing
more.
the drive, losing the drive to work harder. Like that's where I think universal basic income and the idea of automation kind of like fails human nature.
And it
the
comes
human drive.
and it becomes more of a Chinese idea.
Yes,
I feel.
Yeah,
Because again, they use all the technology we've done, but yet in an aspect of their kind of totalitarian kind of way, where they're just like, hey, let's put up face recognition things, let's put up fucking a ban on the
and they're
internet.
using all that to pay workers less, which is what they're going to do here. Here,
Yeah.
$15 an hour is going to be what $5 an hour was when I was growing up.
And see, that's so shitty. Is
That's
because,
what's going to happen.
And all they're doing is just raising the price, so it seems like you're making more.
Right.
You're like, oh well, shit, I'm making $15.
it just tells you fiat currency is made up bullshit.
It's horrible.
It's fake.
Oh man, it's so bad.
Yeah,
Let's end on a good note.
let's do it.
If you subscribe to either mine or his channel, we'll love you forever.
No doubt.
But again, we've been here for 2 hours and a half.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I gotta pee so bad.
Me too.
But
That's
dude,
good.
that was awesome, dude. That's what's up. You
Hell
gotta come
yeah.
back. There's always
No
something
doubt.
to talk about. There's always interesting topics to bring up. And then again,
Shit's always happening.
yeah, and this is just your first appearance. I've had people come on here like 8 times.
Dude, I had this idea to try to do something with like the jam sessions and shit, and just have like a background podcast set up, but random emceeing, but loose format. One day we'll talk about it.
Yeah, dude, there's a bunch of ideas. There's so many. If there's a podcast out there, somebody's listening.
No doubt.
That's the beautiful thing about any of this. Shout out to everybody that was still in the chat and everything. We went down to like 6 viewers, but you guys are awesome.
I don't know if J Dub watched, but if you're out there, shout out to J Dub.
All of you guys are sick. King Hayes, Mario, Mike, Cody, El Putillo, Puro Chivas, Maurice. You guys are awesome. Thank you again for liking, subscribe. Where can these people follow you and find you? Anywhere.
You can find me on Jerry's Thoughts, just spelled normal. Free Jerry88 on Twitch, and yeah, that's basically it for now.
No Twitter.
Trying to work on some stuff. I am on Twitter, Free Jerry88 on Twitter, but I actually just barely got back on Twitter.
Okay, so you guys heard it here, folks. He's still getting. We're expanding. This is a growing community. So if you guys liked what you saw, if you guys like what's going on, make sure to subscribe, give Jerry that like and subscribe. He'll be doing some more episodes and more stuff. We'll have him back for sure. So if you guys liked what you guys saw, he'll be back for sure.
All right.
I do want to thank you again, guys. You guys know the routine. If you guys aren't subscribed, just subscribe. Hit that notification button. Whenever we go live whenever. So you guys got to know when it's going to come on. Also, make sure to follow me any social media sites: Twitter, YouTube, fucking Instagram, TikTok. I'm fucking trying to boom people. You guys know how that shit works. Just Google MuseMe TV. I swear to God, I'll be one of the first things that pops up. You guys have a good one. Be safe. We'll have another episode tomorrow. And peace and love. You guys know what's going on here. Yeah. You're awesome, man. Thanks again.
All right.